Happy New Year, Jessica.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. We're a week in. Did I ask you 2 weeks ago if you had any New Year's resolutions?
I don't think you did.
I don't think I did. I didn't plan any New Year's resolutions before the New Year, but I just told you earlier today, my belated New Year's resolution is to read more books this year.
Nice. That's great. I think that's a great one.
I'm just going to read Complex Infrastructure, known as the Female Mind.
Again.
I'm going to read it again and again and again. It's so easy. I've already been through it a bunch of times. Not a bunch of times.
You said
I've already
you want to
been through
read
it
more
once.
books, not a book you've already read.
That's true. We should read more books over at patreon.com/Sadie Hawkins Pod. But we just can't find another book that's like as perfect as that one was. Well,
Yeah.
no, we'll see. We'll see. Well, anyway, we're back. Thank you all for letting us. You are bosses. You are listeners. You're our bosses. You're who we work for. Our patrons are like our stockholders, our shareholders. But everyone listening to us, you're our bosses. Just like, the customer is always right. But we had to take last week off. The holidays caught up with us. We were constantly chugging through. April, are you going to be good tonight and not bark at us because we're recording? We gave you a week off.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're back and we're going to be talking about Sadie Hawkins Dance Part 2. Are you excited?
Yeah, sure am.
I was almost humiliated to turn in a 90-minute episode about the biggest Relient K song. Did that shock anyone out there? Did that shock anyone to think that we did like a 2.5-hour episode on Crayons Can Melt on Us? But we did an 80-minute episode on the biggest song. So I don't know. Well, we're back. We're gonna a few more thoughts that we had. I mean, we're still in the cold open, but a few more thoughts that we had, after an extra 2 weeks of listening to the song. Plus, and this is the big news for us, none other than Matt Hoops, the Matt Hoops, who is, as far as I'm aware, some guy who has something to do with Relient K.
Right. Sure, I've heard the name.
He tweeted at us, off of one of my, very... not clickbaity, but engagement desperate account. I'm not saying this about Matt Hoops, but sometimes I try to have funny posts and I'm like, these will be funny and people will like these, hopefully. But then I have I don't really do a lot of desperate click engagement where it's what do you think of this?
Sure.
Tell us what you think in the comments. No, Watch Mojo style, tell us what you think in the comments. Did you agree with our list? Well, I posted something, and Matt Hoops was like, I do not remember this. I can't believe this, and here are my thoughts on it. And he gave us those thoughts, and we'll read those from that tweet here this week on Sadie Hawkins Pod as we talk about Sadie Hawkins Dance Part 2.
Nice tease.
She said you're smooth, ain't good with talking. You go with me to the Sadie Hawkins.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sadie Hawkins Pod.
Hello. I didn't really have a cold open idea for a skit. I was like, do we reverse the OG opening bit that we did from episode 1, where I ask you, and then I get upset that you ask. That was my first thought, was I ask you,
so
and then you get upset because I'm the guy, and I'm like, Jessica, it's 2023. How dare you? Gender is a construct. But then I was like, no, we'll just open with a little tease.
I didn't think that was the better choice.
Well, we're back. So,
Top of the show business.
top of the show business. We do have some top of the show business. But mostly, yeah, we took last week off. I gotta say it again, I've said this in the past. I don't like when I watch a YouTube
say
video
it every time.
and they're like, sorry I haven't had a video in a long time, but it happens, whatever. We're here to talk about some more thoughts on Sadie Hawkins Dance, but there's so many things. Things in Jessica's notes. When I was editing the episode 2 weeks ago, that Jessica was like, I've got this, and I've got a parody lyrics on amiright.com, and we didn't get to any of it. Hopefully you're back to hear all of that. We needed a mental health break after the holidays. Everything caught up on us. Oh, and then if you remember last week, 2 weeks ago, we were like, we gotta go. We're waking up at 7 in the morning to go to Disneyland, and that was true. And we did. And then the whole week after that just wiped us out. My sister came here from the East Coast and stayed in our one-bedroom apartment with her 2 children, our nieces. It was amazing to see them. I loved it, but it was so exhausting.
There's a lot of people in one space.
Yeah, and I'm like, we had recorded the episode 2 weeks ago ahead of time, knowing they would be here and we'd have no chance of recording it during the week. And after they left, I'm like, I need a week off. I need an extra week off. And then work's getting intense because it's end of the year. I'm an accountant, so things are ramping up. So here are the voicemails. We do have some voicemails. And since we took the week off, I sent out the bat signal and I was like, hey everyone, do you have Sadie Hawkins Dance stories? Not just the Relient K song, but actual Sadie Hawkins dances from your real life experience. I have a few of those.
Did you wear khaki pants? Did she like your sweater? You're wearing a sweater today. I love it. It has a dog with, it's like a little English bulldog with
a bowler hat on. Yeah. I have a couple of dog sweaters, and that's got like a cute dog on it. They're not really ugly Christmas sweaters, but they are sort of like wintry sweaters with dogs stitched on them, and I always get compliments on them.
They're great sweaters.
Oh. So here is our first of, we have 3 voicemails from 2 people. So here is the first one.
Jess and Dan, how are you? Happy New Year. This is Allie. I'm calling because I have a really cool story real quick that I'm going to share. Going back to my weird connection now that I have with Relient K via John Schneck, with my boyfriend's sister-in-law being his cousin. So her name is Stephanie. So shout out to Stephanie. She got me in Secret Santa this year. And so she reached out to Schneck and I got some awesome guitar picks. And I have a signed CD on the way as well. So I just think that's really cool. And she told me that she texted him personally and requested some goodies for me for Secret Santa, and he was more than willing to oblige. So thank you, Schneck, if you ever listen. But just thought was such a cool, like, thoughtful present. Anyway, and I also just saw your prompt on Instagram, I think, about Sadie Hawkins dances, and I have never been to one. I have been to many a dance, but not a Sadie Hawkins dance. All right. I hope y'all have a great New Year. Bye.
That's so cool. Like, best Christmas gift ever. Especially like a Secret Santa present. Like, Secret Santa gifts, it's always you're like, oh, nice, to whatever
yeah,
you get.
Something you bought in the airport.
Great. Right. That sounds like a very sick gift.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I love it. Getting our agents closer and closer to the band. We've had John Schneck on the show. It's not like it's not that big. It's not, whatever. Anyway, so here is the next. But that's amazing, Allie. Thank you very much for sharing that. I love it. Everyone, go DM John Schneck.
Oh no, Danny, no.
Ask him for.
Edit that out.
And here's the first voicemail we have from one person. First of 2 voicemails from this person.
Hey, Jess and Dan. This is Harry calling from Dover, Ohio. Why that location is important, you will find out in a second. I would say just look it up, but sure to look it up. It makes sense a lot. So,
I didn't screen this voicemail, so I didn't know it has this distortion, this happening in it. So hopefully we get all the information we need from it. I try to listen to voicemails ahead of time and say, oh, this one didn't come in, let us know. But we took the 2 weeks off, and I didn't. I was like, the last thing I'm going to do is work on the podcast.
Danny.
I feel the need to introduce myself. I've been listening to the show since September now. I've been following you guys on Instagram since you started, mostly just for the memes and stuff, because I've been obsessed with Relient K my whole life, and I was like, hey, they post memes about Relient K, that's pretty cool. And so I've been following you guys since the start of the podcast, but I have never actually listened to you guys until September when I got a job at a wood shop and I wear headphones all day, so I was like, might as well start listening to podcasts. You guys it's on my list. It's on to listen to. And so basically, why the Dover, Ohio thing is important is it is about, I want to say, 25 miles south of Canton, Ohio. 10 miles south of Bolivar, Ohio. Not Bolivia, Ohio, as Jeff said in a previous episode, but Bolivar, Ohio. I just found that funny, and it's been, like, stuck in my brain how to pronounce it, and I was like, that's funny. And so basically, yeah, I am from the Canton area. I went to a high school that was in the same athletic district as Camp McKinley High School, where Matt Popes went to. And Glen Oak High School was the one where Matt Thiessen went to. So I've known the band mostly from my parents, who actually went to college, both Matt at Malone and who were there during the early stages of the band. Pretty cool. And the pianist of the...
I think I'm getting all the information. Are you getting it?
I think so. It's a cool story so far.
It sounds like his parents were something. It's like your transmission is, we're losing your transmission. Come in.
So I've known the band mostly from my parents, who actually went to college, both Matt at Malone and who were there during the early stages of the band. Pretty cool.
Oh, his parents went to
Whoa.
college with both Matts.
That's amazing.
Which you can go to our College Kids episode to hear about what college they went to. I don't remember what that was. I know you found the research about what college they went to for a little bit while Relient K was still
right.
growing. I don't
have that info off the top of my head.
We're not in college. We're not expected to have this information off the top of our head. But that's amazing that it sounds like his parents went to college with them at that time.
And the pianist of the praise band at my church, who I play guitar in our praise band, she plays piano, is actually neighbors with, I believe, since mother, which I think is pretty cool.
I think he said the piano teacher is
The
neighbors with someone's mother.
the pianist at the worship band that he plays in.
I'm enjoying this. This is like we're detectives and we're like the FBI and we're listening through like
It's
broken tape.
literally
trying
a
to
game of
piece-
telephone.
Yeah.
She lives up in Baldwin, and I drive through there all the time. I go to Canton just because there's nothing to do in Dover. If you want to do anything in Dover, go into Canton. And yeah, so basically, my introduction to who I am, and I like to start the podcast. And I was going to say something about the Big Month episode. I literally just listened to that one. But, oh well. But yeah, it is funny that Kent McKinley High School both had Duke and Maryland and around the same time. Anyway, thanks for listening, guys.
What I think I just heard was that he is actually Marilyn Manson calling. No, he just mentioned
Thank you for your call. That was great.
McKinley High School. was
Sounds
where-
like in Canton you can enjoy yourself. In Dover, maybe not so much.
It's all relative. In Canton, you can't enjoy yourself unless you're from Dover. Let's hear the next big pop rock, pop punk band from Dover and what their situation is like.
And my apologies to Bolivier? What I could not hear because it was breaking up a little bit, but I did get that I got it wrong, and I apologize.
Well, Terry calls back. It is Terry, right? Because it's so hard to hear.
Well, we'll find out in a minute.
We'll find out in 1 second. Hopefully this 1 minute follow-up voicemail is a little easier to hear.
Hey guys, Terry's from Dover calling back again. And there was one more thing I wanted to say. That I went, my first ever Relient K show, I've been there my whole life, but my first ever one on the ad for.
What's with the cell phone service in Dover, Idaho?
You mean Ohio?
Oh my God. Idaho, Ohio, they're the same place. All those middle America states are the same to me.
No, Danny.
I live on the West Coast and I
no.
look down on everyone in what they call America. I'm just kidding. As someone from Massachusetts, I mean, Massachusetts is not a middle America state, but I'm just kidding around. I'm totally joking. I'm gonna put the speaker right to my ear and see what I can suss out.
And it was Flint. And I read the set list, they played the same set list they did everywhere else. I saw the set list posted online and all that. I think you guys did too. And Mississippi Hippopotamus on that set list, but in Cleveland, Ohio, they did not play Mississippi Hippopotamus, which is probably their closest to a hometown still.
Okay, everything up until the moment he said the show was in Cleveland, Ohio, and they did not play Mrs. Hippopotamus, everything up to there, even Google Voice was like, we're not even trying to transcribe this.
That is funny.
I'm so sorry I
you
didn't
would
let you
think
know
that they
earlier.
would play the Ohio song in Ohio.
Yeah, what the heck?
And I just figured that was weird and figured I'd share that with you guys. And also, you guys mentioned something about Gen Zers and how they don't know Sadie Hawkins dances. Sadie Hawkins is the only reason why I know what a Sadie Hawkins dance is. So, you guys are right on that. But for Gen Z intel or input or anything, please contact you guys. Certain you can find me on Instagram. I mean, the U.S. at least, Harry's not a that common of name, so I'm certain you guys.
Oh no, he's like, find me on Instagram. Like, I can't tell what you're saying, but I'm gonna try to I'm gonna try to DM you and be like, your voicemails. This reminds me, like, if you, people can always send it. We have never mentioned this, but I know Magnified Pod has done this, and some other podcasts I've listened to that we don't even know personally have done this. Oh,
we've gotten them before.
Yeah, you send us a voice memo by email to sadiehawkinspod@gmail.com, and hopefully it's just a little clearer. I mean, the voicemail is just supposed to be a convenience thing, but yeah, if this ends up happening, I feel bad. But
I love hearing from like a hometowner, you know? I like hearing from somebody who's like right at the source.
Yeah.
But anyways, I love the show. I plan on keeping listening to it, and after the last couple of months of listening to you guys, you're like family to me. You're one of the best parts of my week. Thank you guys.
Oh, well, that's great. Thank you. We appreciate that. We appreciate... Yeah, I have a relationship like that with podcasts that I've listened to forever, where I feel like they're family, and actually, the podcast I've been listening to the longest in my entire life, I started listening to podcasts in 2010, the year we were married. That's when I discovered podcasts. And I started listening to a bunch of different podcasts, mostly like comedians that I was familiar with. And I've stopped listening to almost all of them because I've gotten like tired of them, or the show changed, or the show ended or canceled. Doug Benson is the only podcast I still listen to for the last 13 years. So I feel like he's family to me as well, but I'm just kidding because he's a very famous comedian. And he smokes the devil's lettuce. He's a pot comedian. I'm just kidding. Anyway, I appreciate that when, you feel like you, I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. We love that. Thank you for, like, letting us into your ears.
I felt like I was getting a little too vulnerable. Like, I appreciate it when you...
We do appreciate it.
We do appreciate it.
Thank you.
So thank you for your voicemails, and I'm sorry that didn't come in very clearly, but that's amazing. That's all amazing information. I did have some other DMs. So what I did was, deciding to take the week off, I sent out a tweet and I posted it to our Instagram to say, hey, we're taking the week off. Things are crazy right now. Let us know your personal Sadie Hawkins dance stories. Chelsea Cummings on Instagram said, yes, my school did a Sadie Hawkins dance when I was a sophomore or a junior. I don't remember who I asked and went with, but I remember the boy I liked went with someone else who asked and then rejected me at the dance. So I found a paper heart decoration, ripped it in half, and placed it over my actual heart. Parenthesis, the drama. There's a picture of me and my friends lying on the gym floors, parenthesis, gross, and I can see the paper heart in my shirt. I had such big dreams for the dance because of Relient K, but I was only left disappointed.
Oh, that's sad.
That's sad. Thank you.
That's a bummer.
Thank you, Chelsea, for sharing that. And I think this is
He wasn't worth it.
No, definitely not. Definitely not.
Yeah, what a jerk.
So then Brent Buchanan on
Any
Instagram.
relation to
Mitch
Mitch
Buchanan.
and Hobie?
Mitch and Hobie Buchanan. Oh, we're so close. If it's been a tiny B plot of Sadie Hawkins Dance, we're almost done with Baywatch.
Yeah, we're in Baywatch Hawaii now, which is, it's rough.
Baywatch Hawaii, which had 2 seasons. Some sources refer to it as Baywatch Season 9. And the final season of any version of Baywatch. Real rough. Gets real rough. Although, like, they have moments. They have moments where they're like, they found their own thing in this Baywatch spinoff set in Hawaii that barely has Mitch and barely has any of the things that made the original Baywatch what it was. They kind of figure out some stuff, but that's really episode by episode. That's just like here and there they kind of figure some things out. It's getting rough. Yeah. I'm still looking forward, though. Tom Arnold's going to pop up as a tourist in one episode.
I feel like he showed up on regular Baywatch at some point as well as a tourist.
No. It was a Baywatch Hawaii episode.
Oh, okay. I knew we'd seen him already.
Because since we had been watching, because Baywatch was our... this is a Sadie Hawkins Dance episode. Some people might be listening to this with not feeling like we're family.
Right.
And knowing, but we started watching Baywatch as our feel-good pandemic show, and we're almost done with it now after 3 years. And when we were a good, 6 seasons in, we checked out the Baywatch streaming channel, and it was just happened to be playing an episode of Baywatch Hawaii. And we're like, we don't know who any of these characters are, but let's just check out a little bit of this, and hopefully there's no big spoilers for Baywatch. There wouldn't have been. But, I mean, technically there could be, but not in that one random episode. And Tom Arnold was in it. Anyway, Brett Buchanan, who I do not think is related to the fictional character Mitch Buchanan or Hobie Buchanan, says, my school was supposed to have a Sadie Hawkins Dance. But then a few girls complained that if they got rejected by guys, it would be bad for their self-esteem and confidence. So they just changed their minds and told us guys had to be the ones to ask. LOL. Well, what's the point of having a Sadie Hawkins Dance?
Yeah. Then, well, at least you still had a winter formal or whatever it is that they do instead.
Right. I didn't think about, in a school that is properly affirming to all lifestyles, I guess a Sadie Hawkins Dance isn't something you can necessarily easily do because it does conform to gender norms of girls ask the guys. And I guess we're just gonna get into the episode now.
Dudes can be a lot harsher when they're not interested as well. You know, I feel like girls usually, unless they're a mean girl, they usually try and sugarcoat it or let you down nicely or just say yes and go to the dance with you anyway and then just be like, yeah, but we're just friends.
Yeah, let's get that. I like this. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about this. We talked about the history of Sadie Hawkins dances. The whole weird way in which that's based off of a comic strip and how the guy who created it is an absolute creeper. Jessica told me more facts about that behind the scenes and I'm like, ooh, bad guy. But let's talk about to get into the song discussion again, and then we'll lead into more of your research findings and the covers that I have and the fan videos. Let's talk about Sadie Hawkins dances in general. So yeah, you're right. I would think that
because women are more, no offense, but women tend to be more in touch with their feelings and emotions, and so they're like, oh, I don't really, I'm not into him, but I wouldn't want to let him down and make him feel bad. Whereas guys are just whatever, I don't like you.
And it's constantly, that in and of itself, forget dances, that's a problem for women overall that they have to deal with. Is some guy comes up and is interested in them, and a lot of time, and many times. I hear the stories. I'm not a woman, but I understand. I've heard about it firsthand from you, but I've heard about it firsthand from other friends, and I hear about it in media, that a girl gets attention from a guy that she's not interested in, And instead of saying, thank you, but I'm not really interested, and maybe because she has a social circle with them and she knows she's going to see this person and be in close quarters with this person, she's like, no, I'm not really. She tries to let him down easy. It's a consistent narrative that women have to deal with the crappiness of men, of letting a guy down easy so as not to hurt his feelings, but him not getting the picture.
Yeah.
Right? So then imagine how that works out in a dance situation,
Right.
Or a big formal coming up and asking, no, I'm busy, I gotta wash my hair.
Right.
Like that's the trope that's been around since the 40s. Yeah. No, I gotta wash my hair. Instead of just saying, no, I'm not interested in you. Girls are more considerate to feelings, and then men don't understand that.
Yeah.
And then they keep asking the girl or keep approaching her. She's like, no, I gotta keep washing my hair. And like, get the hint, dude. Get the hint. But yeah, you're right. And then a girl would ask out a guy, even though the song itself presents it as like this cute thing where it's basically like a High School Musical where everybody's happy, everybody's friends. And even like the bad girl, the Sharpay, is still technically... She might technically be the antagonist, but really she's their friend. Sharpay, as far as Sharpay's barely a villain when you think about, like, she's not a villain when you think about the history of that franchise. So it's like, yeah, everyone's friends in the Relient K, Sadie Hawkins Dance world. No one's going to hurt anyone's feelings.
Right.
But in real life, a girl goes up to a guy and is like, I want to take you to the Sadie Hawkins. No. Wow, that sucks.
Yeah.
And then at that point, for like Brett's school to be like, okay, the school's like, okay, the guys have to ask the girls. Well, don't even pretend it's a Sadie Hawkins dance at that point. But then, yeah, I didn't think about last week in terms
but
of
also, like, why can't everybody just like ask each other again? Because girls are too afraid of getting let down,
right?
Like harshly.
Yeah. See, that's what's sweet, and honestly, like, what makes it feel like the High School Musical thing in the Sadie Hawkins Dance world of the Relient K song is I don't imagine anyone getting their feelings trampled on in the way that Matt Thiessen presents this world of a Sadie Hawkins Dance, where the girls ask the guys, it's always a surprise. There's nothing better. Like there's a lot of things better than getting rejected when a girl, and it was a great experiment for generations. It was a great like idea for generations to be like, here is a social situation where we flip the gender normative. The women ask the men out, and especially like, I mean, I can get into like I was touching on like where we are now with gender as a society, but just like even come up to the point of like the 80s, the 90s, like just to even flip the script and be like, girls are going to ask the guys out on dates. Like, that would almost seem like devilish and evil in certain communities.
Right.
But like, no, this is the fun thing based on the comic strip.
Right.
So you kind of temper it with that, like, this is a fun thing, and it's almost like a Rodgers and Hammerstein musical. Like, everyone's going to have a good time, and the girls are going to ask the guys. And, but then to think in a real world situation based on geolocation, based on your state, based on your like community, based on different things, like, no, think the temperament of your school, like how mean your school may be or how much more communal and safe your school may be. It really depends on how much a Sadie Hawkins dance is actually a good idea or not. And then, yeah, so I was touching on it, but I didn't think about like how do LGBTQ people navigate a Sadie Hawkins dance in 2022, 2023. I mean, I'm sure there are ways to make that sweet. Like if you are an LGBT person, you might hear a song like Sadie Hawkins Dance and be like, I want to go on a Sadie Hawkins dance. And even though I'm a guy and I'm going to ask a guy, or I'm a girl and I'm going to ask a girl, I still dream of having a Sadie Hawkins dance. So that can still be sweet. And there should be some way of making that happen. But like at the same time, it seems like Sadie Hawkins dances are a novelty at this point in our society.
Yeah.
Like they just kind of happen when like people just kind of think about it. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Like the school administration or the school, the student
council
still
run by
boomers,
so they're like, okay, we're gonna do this thing.
but it could be seen as like a novelty. Like the homecoming is a thing that doesn't happen in every community, but it still happens in some communities because it's tradition. It's a tradition. But a Sadie Hawkins dance may be a tradition in some random communities across the country and across the sort of Western world. But I can't imagine, you know, I don't know. Like, it's probably not that. It's probably more like, there's probably more situations where it's like some teenagers who really love the Relient K song and things, and they just are like, we really want to do a Sadie Hawkins dance because it sounds like a cool old-timey thing to do. And that, to go on to like the thrust of this episode, which will come after you go back through your deep dive. But when I was doing the YouTube deep dive for this episode, before we decided to definitely split it in two parts, searching for Sadie Hawkins dance stuff on YouTube is so difficult because there's tons of Sadie Hawkins dance content that has nothing to do with Relient K. And I did the in title, comma, Relient K, in title, comma, Sadie Hawkins dance, you know, search descriptors to find videos that are definitely Relient K, Sadie Hawkins dance related. But then I realized I gotta like take the words Relient K out of there because I think a lot of people have made YouTube content without Relient K explicitly tagged, but like they're fan videos or they are Sadie Hawkins dance proposal videos, basically like promposal videos. Mm-hmm. And people might have like gone on TikTok or gone on Spotify and just typed in Sadie Hawkins dance, and they probably never heard of Relient K, but tagged this band that they have no personal like attachment to. But this is the Sadie Hawkins dance song. So there's so much content on YouTube that there's no way I did not capture all of it. Whereas normally I try to at least capture every link of every YouTube bit of media possible for a song. I couldn't do that this week. I couldn't do that 2 weeks ago. But we'll try our best to go through. We'll go through the notes I did capture, and we'll try to see what we can dig up after that. But first, because this isn't our usual format, I'm interested in hearing more of your deep dive from last week. Or do you want to do a break before we do that?
No, we can get into the deep dive.
Before the break, okay.
Yeah, but before we do the deep dive, you were teasing it ahead of the what do we call that? The bumper? The intro? What?
I thought that flowed so well to your segment, and then you're like, oh yeah. I teased it, didn't I? Okay, yeah. So the day that we recorded this, I mean, I'm timing it for anyone who's paying close attention, but the day that we're recording this, I got these replies from Matt Hoops. So let me go to the original tweet, because we got tons of engagement. So this morning, I log on to our Twitter, and it's always fun, like, when you have, like, because I have so many Twitter accounts, this happens once in a while, but Twitter has this thing where, like, once you reach 20 notifications, it just says 20 plus. For some reason, Twitter, and this is not a Elon Musk recent thing, this is the way it's always works, once you reach 20 notifications, it stops, like, counting. I guess so it doesn't like brick your phone if you have like a majorly viral tweet or something. Mm-hmm. So we suddenly have like above 20 notifications. I was like, ooh, something good happened. We got attention from someone, and it was Matt Hoops. So let me find this thing. So yesterday, on the Saturday before we released this, on January 7th, I wrote, "Have you heard the re-recorded version of Sadie Hawkins Dance? What do you think of it? Is this in your regular rotation, or do you pretend it's not there? What other Relient K songs would you like them to re-record?" Total, like, pandering, like, please engage with us sort of tweet that I do once in a while. And I put a YouTube link to the Sadie Hawkins Dance 10-year reunion version that is on the Goatee Records 20-year anniversary compilation, which we talked about last week. Gets very numerically confusing. Hoops, the next morning, says, "This is so funny. I don't even remember doing this." And then now this is Danny speaking. I think he like shortened his response so it would fit into the tweet. These seem to be his thoughts on the song, having heard it for what it feels to him the first time.
Amazing.
His thoughts are: too slow, unnecessary changes. Although it does have some honest triedness in it, I suppose. It does have some honest they triedness in it, I suppose. He wrote tiredness, but I think he meant triedness. I'm not sure. I don't want to speak for him. He wrote, although it does have some honest tiredness in it, but he must have meant triedness because he put a hyphen between tired and ness. And
Maybe they were tired when they recorded it.
would be interesting to take another crack at this if the moment was right. So he's saying, like, maybe we'd try to make a Sadie Hawkins Dance 20th anniversary version.
Let's do it.
So then that got tons of engagement. Way more likes on his reply than on our original tweet.
Naturally.
Naturally. I replied, the underlying organ notes make me uneasy. Otherwise, I would enjoy this version more. I reply to Hoops and I say that. Josh, Reliable Josh of the Reliable J podcast says, Danny, I still hate you for pointing that out to me. I can't unhear it. But then Matt Hoop says, yeah, I agree with that.
Nice.
I really feel like that underlying organ note is too much. Mm-hmm. And I was re-listening to, having this extra 2 weeks, I got more time to listen to both the gold and the non-gold version. And there is a sustaining guitar note that rings out at different points in the song, but it doesn't stay for the whole song. So I kind of got the sense of maybe they kind of like take that sustaining guitar note, but turn it into an organ and keep it for the whole song. And the note only alters like at the end of certain measures. So it is a little too much. And here Matt Hoops agrees. So then John Schneck replies to Hoops and says, we did this with Markley Townsend. It was very quick, which we talked about with John Schneck when he was on our show for the Be Your Man episode. He mentioned how, we talked about it last week, 2 weeks ago, but we talked about how Schneck remembered this being part of the K is for Karaoke sessions. That the joke was Relient K doing karaoke of Relient K, but then they left it off the K is for Karaoke album. I replied, hoping for a little bit of extra information. That's not quite how it worked out, but it did work out. I said, here's the timeline that we understand. Recorded circa 2011 during karaoke sessions, held off of karaoke, released in 2014 on GoT20 Comp, and online as an online promo. I didn't say online twice. And as an online promo for 10 Tour. If this is incorrect or incomplete, we definitely want to know. And Hoops replied, sounds about right. I think I'm remembering it more now, but still odd. Ha ha ha.
That's funny.
So that was hilarious that, like, he didn't remember that they recorded this version and he hasn't heard it in years.
Right.
Like, I guess he doesn't go looking for deep cuts on Spotify of his own band.
I mean, why would you?
Now, having had the extra 2 weeks to listen to the song more, I have to say, for absolute certain, the non-gold original CD mix of this song is vastly superior to what's on streaming today. They remixed the album in 2000, and they remixed the album in 2006. And the original 2002 mix on the original CD is so much better. And we talked about it last week, but listening to it again, I was getting some more sense of why it's so much better. Thiessen's vocals are way stronger, way up in the mix. Dave's drumming is also higher up in the mix, and everything is just drowned out in the 2006 and the streaming mix. And I'm cool. I understand they wanted to get back in the studio and kind of remix everything so that it kind of was a little bit more on par with the production decisions of But like, I wish both versions were available because I just find the 2002 mix of Sadie Hawkins Dance to be so incredibly vastly superior. And even though there are some gold and non-gold mixes where the changes to me feel negligible, this is one where it just doesn't even compare. There's also like one other note that I found between the gold mix and the non-gold mix is that on the current mix on streaming, the gold mix, the 2006 mix, Thiessen's vocals are like swimming in reverb. Like there's all this reverb on his vocals, which I feel like, is that in some engineering sense like a makeup for just how, drowned out the rest of the vocals sound? Because in the original 2002 mix, his vocals are so up and strong and powerful,
right,
and leading the song. The drums and the vocals are leading the song, but then everything is mixed so level in the 2006 mix, and then they add this extra reverb to Thiessen's vocals. I'm like, is this a patch because like you leveled everything so evenly that you realized how drowned out it was and you had to like add this extra reverb? Like I don't know enough about engineering to really know these things. I don't know. All I know is that the 10-year reunion version is the vastly superior version of all Sadie Hawkins Dance.
What? Speaking of, we did realize, we figured out after last week's episode, there is another version of this. So there are 4 versions of this song, correct?
Right. I forgot about the Rhapsody acoustic sessions. Hey, future Danny here, and I am conflating the Rhapsody sessions with these mysterious acoustic sessions that get bounced around by fans on fan Google Drives. If you actually know where these acoustic sessions come from, please let us know. I've been looking for information about them. They don't seem to be from the Rhapsody sessions, and I don't understand. But I'm going to put them on YouTube with a little information, and hopefully someone out there can fill us in, and I will update that info. Which aren't on YouTube, like in an easily found place. It's in one of those Google Drives that the fans pass around. And I had downloaded it months or years ago. And it was when we were editing.
Ooh, I feel like we're doing a Grateful Dead podcast now.
It's when we were editing. I think the Rhapsody originals are on SoundCloud. And I think I didn't even go to SoundCloud because there was so much stuff on YouTube. I was like, I can't handle this. But anyway, thank you to Matt Hoops for technically being on this episode of Sadie Hawkins Dance. Of Sadie Hawkins Pod. Ooh, I did it! I finally did it between the 2 episodes. That's the first time I mixed up the words dance and pod. Do you think we should say, like, quote-unquote guest? Matt Hoops?
In no way should we do that. If we ever want to actually get him on the pod, we should not do that.
Brian Fletcher replied and said, I cannot wait for the Sadie Hawkins Dance 50-year reunion version. Sadie Oakleaf, I just find that funny that her name is actually Sadie, said, it's really good though. It's more comfortable and mature in ways the original could never be. It's what makes, if that makes any sense. So I guess like musically mature. And Paravinatilier, aka April, said, I also completely forgot this existed, and I, quote-unquote, bought it. Safe to say, it's not in my regular rotation. I feel like there was one other quote tweet that I should mention. Here it is. Matt's Music, Rebel Radio, radio with a 0, said, Sadie Hawkins Pod out here teaching the artist about their own music. And then Matt's Music continues, which honestly I understand. Sometimes you record things that are later cut, or you've just done so much across your career that you start to forget some things 10 years out. I asked Jason Dunn about Joy to the World in an interview, and he kind of forgot about it. So, what else about Sadie Hawkins Dance?
I don't know, but why don't we go ahead now and actually take our break, and then we'll come back with deep dives.
It'll just be like a regular episode. Yep. We're just back on track like we should have been last week when we humiliated ourselves with a 90-minute episode. We got to make up for it. We got to have a 4-hour episode this week.
Let's do it. Thank you so much for listening to Sadie Hawkins Pod. If you want to join the conversation, please contact us with thoughts on this episode, your corrections, and your Relient K memories at our voicemail line 402-95-SADIE, or send an email to sadiehawkinspod@gmail.com.
You can also visit our socials. Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok are all at Sadie Hawkins Pod, where you can see the visuals we discuss on the podcast each week.
You can also visit sadiehawkinspod.com for easy access to all these links, as well as our merch store for shirts, mugs, and stickers. And on Facebook, search for Sadie Hawkins Group to discuss our show and Relient K. It's admin by Danny, so honestly, you can probably post almost anything there.
We also want to thank our patrons at patreon.com/SadieHawkinsPod, who include Samantha, Matthew, Bjorn, Emily, Isaac, Kindle, Joshua, Daniel, Jay, Joel, Connor, Michael, Samantha, Jimmy Eat Pod, This Might Be a Podcast, Tucker, and Brady.
Join our Patreon now for 2 monthly bonus episodes. Unlock dozens of existing bonus eps, including K is for Karaoke songs, every chapter of the complex infrastructure known as the Female Mind book, stickers, guitar picks, and a special Patreon exclusive shirt when you have donated a lifetime contribution of $60.
Whether you join the Patreon or not, we appreciate that you have a lot of choices for podcasts out there in the world, so it's nice that you chose us.
Thanks. Last time in our deep dive, we covered TikToks and song meanings and spot-alike and song facts and all that fun stuff. So we are starting off with...
I know what I want to hear, but I want to hear, what are you going to say?
Lyricsmode.com, where you can ask for clarification / what a lyric means.
The original genius.
And again, the only one that is highlighted here is "Baby, do you like my sweater?"
Right,
and
because
they never got the answer.
I can't imagine anyone's listening to part 2 when they didn't listen to part 1. But that was like the thing that you discovered was the lyric "Do you like my sweater?" just knocked people for a loop. Like they don't get it. Like I always got it. It's like he's asking his date that asked him, "Do you like the sweater I'm wearing with my khaki pants for the dance?"
Because we learned that the Sadie Hawkins dance is a little less formal.
Yeah.
So this was requested by Lil Chevy, and unfortunately they never got an answer. So hopefully they're listening. Next up, we have parody lyrics over on amiright.com.
Yay! This is what I was excited for. I was excited to hear this 2 weeks ago. I didn't get to hear it. And then when I was editing the episode, I was like, oh no, we didn't get the parody song this week. I'm so excited.
So original song title, Sadie Hawkins Dance. Original performer, Relient K. Parody song title, Axe a Joke, or the ACT.
Oh no, it sounds esoteric.
Parody writer by ACT Hater or Act Hater. This is like one of those standardized test things that you have to do in school.
Okay. See, now with a parody, seeing somebody's parody lyrics written down on a website, usually amiright.com, I want something like really ridiculous. You know, if it's going to be esoteric and very personal to their lives, like complaining about the neighbor upstairs who's too loud, like in their own personal life, like that can be magical. That can be magical. But no, I want it to be broad and over the top and ridiculously bad. But this just sounds like...
It's like the SATs. The ACT is a standardized test used for college admissions in the United States. It is currently administered by ACT, a nonprofit organization of the same name. The ACT test covers 4 academic skill areas: English, mathematics, reading, and scientific reasoning.
If you have to explain the parody ahead of time...
It also offers an optional direct writing test. Well, you know, we're a little separated from college, and you didn't actually have to take any of those tests to get into our college. So you just had to write a check. The lyrics. Sitting in the back of the portable testing. After last night, I should be resting. My eyes are burning, but I keep on writing. My body tries to move, but my brain keeps fighting. Chorus. Axe a joke.
Oh, this poor person.
My neck in a rope. It'd be much better than this shit.
Oh,
We just test all day. Just work, no play. Is this test over? I'm so not coming back sober.
This isn't in the spirit of a pre-collapsible lung song with all the reference to alcoholism and attempted suicide.
Swears.
And swears.
Ellie is prowling like a tomcat. Dean just stole my water and won't give it back.
Oh, boy.
I've spent 10 minutes staring at the same bubble. Every time we stop, the questions seem to double.
Oh, the bubble like in the test.
Chorus.
Oh, man.
Oh, then we do the chorus again. Axe a joke. Put my neck in a rope. It'd be much better than this shit. We just test all day. Just work, no play. Is this test over? I'm so not coming back sober.
So not coming back sober. It's already a shoehorned. Matt Thiessen already shoehorned as many lyrics as he could into every measure. But when you also add on top of that parodies, and some of the worst thing you can kind of do in a parody is try to add too many syllables to the original meter of the line. Like, you can do that. You can do that once in a while if it kind of like works as a joke where I shoved this word in where it's normally too long. But you can't do that consistently and have it actually remain funny. It just sounds like you didn't do a good enough job trying to find the right lyrics to match the parody of the original song to the theme that you want to make it about.
We have alphabetically defied our seating. This portable...
We have alphabetically defied our seating.
This portable seems like ass and has no heating.
This portable seems like ass and has no heating.
I think they meant smells. Smells like ass and has no heating.
Unless they mean... This is so esoteric. Unless they mean how some schools will run out of space in their building and they'll get those trailers,
right?
Those office trailers that like construction sites use. I went to a school that had that situation.
Right. I took the PSATs and we had to go to the local public high school to take them because they wouldn't administer them in our
right.
small private school.
I've talked about a school I went to in 9th grade that was a small Christian private school, but they had bought a disused public high school building from the city, from the town, so that it was like the normal size of a regular high school. It had hundreds of kids, and it also wasn't like one denomination because it served all kinds of Christian communities from all around the state. But they ran out of floor room, they ran out of space, and they bought those office trailers that construction sites use.
Yeah, we had those at my school in middle school. That was like the whole thing was made out of those. A 22 or higher I must earn, but right now all I care about is getting it to burn. I guess they mean is getting it to burn. I'm all done being smart and cunning. Oh, they just used cunning again instead of, I'm watching the clock so I can start running. So I can go home and go to bed. So I can go home and go to bed.
Oh, don't we all feel that way?
I drive right home and burst through the door, jump from my bed, and land face down on the floor.
Sorry, I'm moving a bag of snacks over.
And then it says, repeat chorus until it drives you insane.
Repeat the chorus until it drives you insane?
Yes. Well, thank you, ACT hater.
Wow. So angsty. So specifically
Those
angsty.
tests suck, Danny. They're stupid. They measure nothing. They're dumb.
I absolutely agree. I'm just saying, like, so much effort put into a not very good parody.
We have even more lyric interpretations over on Lyric Interpretations.
April, we were doing so good. We got so far into the podcast before you started wanting attention.
Anonymous said, this is one of the most self-explanatory Relient K songs ever. He is obviously in high school getting asked to the Sadie Hawkins dance. Sometimes it's okay to look on the surface.
In what way is it about Jesus, though? That's what I'm looking for.
GABA System said, and you can rate these too. So Anonymous rated it 4 out of 5 stars. Now GABA System rated this song 3 out of 5 stars and said, he passes the bathroom and keeps on smiling with the air guitar strumming. Confidence, a performer. Napping in class, gets up, gives a speech and bows to the applause. sitting by the
What?
cheerleaders,
Oh, okay.
asked if he wants a beating. Clever, cunning. Cunning is the
taking
only
a nap.
word as rhyme to stunning that I doesn't work for me. Words are an art form. That is what this song is about. The next line makes up for it.
Words are an art form, and that's what this post is teaching me.
Runs into a girl.
April!
So stunning. A girl so stunning. This is my favorite line. She is out of the box. He is out of the box. These kinds of people don't peak in high school like jocks and cheerleaders often do. They know it's just the beginning. She says you're smooth and she likes his talk. That's because she's smart enough to understand it. She doesn't ask, but tells him you're going with me. My kind of girl equals my kind of guy, minus my kind of friends, past and present. Confidence, talent, smarts, and most importantly, enthusiasm for life. He likes surprise. I think he knows he will be asked, but he has no idea who will
This
do
feels
the asking.
this feels like beatnik poetry. This feels like what do you call that?
Beat poetry?
No, yeah, beat poetry. This feels like off the cuff, like improvised, like
In tough times, people will, it's just like a stream of consciousness. In tough times, people like this never opt out of life because they can't wait to see
hitting the
what happens
bongos.
next. This also drives the creative spirit. The khakis tells you nothing. Wait, the khakis tell nothing. Baby, do you like my sweater? I can imagine what his sweater might look like, ? But the stunner he found would probably
this
laugh.
is so stream of consciousness. It's so strange.
It's his mind, not his clothes. And the baby is what dumb
Is this
boys
a scholarly
called-
paper?
is what dumb boys call women and girls as a preface. Not smooth, clever
I don't understand
men.
what's happening anymore.
Oh my gosh, it keeps going.
It's amazing. Keep going.
He might say this to any girl and get a different reaction. What she says tells him a lot, and he could care less whether they like his sweater. The stunner has heard baby a million times. It's a joke. She'll laugh and ask if he's found a baby, and who's given an option. Does he baby often? Because only dig me guys baby. He'll try and respond. But he's starting to laugh, too.
Slam poetry.
Yeah.
That's the phrase I was looking for. This is slam poetry.
She's proven she's more than just a pretty face. Stunner says, stop. I want your talk later. Baby, I love it. Whether it obnoxious, cool, dorky, ugly, whatever. I'm going to buy us a match for the Sadie Hawkins dance. Matching sweaters are tradition for those who don't know.
This is slam poetry. This is more artistically sound than that parody about hating the tests. How now, brown bureaucrat?
Is that The Simpsons?
That's The Simpsons when Homer imagines dropping an atomic bomb on the beatniks.
So that last comment was posted March 20th, 2008. This next one is from Anonymous from September 4th, 2007, and they gave this 4.5 out of 5 stars. The line, "Do you like my sweater?" most likely refers to the narrator's insecurity about his looks and how he wants to fit in with the in crowd.
That's a much deeper read on that specific lyric. I can't poo-poo that, but, you know.
Anonymous on February 15th, 2007 rated this 4 3/4 stars out of 5. You can choose
I can't
how
believe
full the
Anonymous,
thing
the
is, I
hacking
guess.
group, started their work as commenting on Relient K lyrics.
This song is clearly the best by Relient K. It's about how a boy struggling through school with social abilities is having to cope with not being asked by a girl to the dance. Then finally he is asked just for being himself the whole time. "Baby, do you like my sweater?" is the best line in the whole song, even though it makes no sense at all.
It makes complete sense. What's wrong with people?
Which is why on September 4th, 2007, Anonymous said the "Do you like my sweater" refers to the
sweater he
crowd.
wore to the Sadie Hawkins dance, and he sees the girl, and he says, "Do you like the sweater that I'm wearing to the dance? I've been talking about the khaki pants. Nobody questions the khaki pants. How hard is this to follow?" He says, "Sadie Hawkins dance in my khaki pants. The only other piece of clothing he
Danny's
mentions in the
about to
song is a
short circuit.
Think about it. Trace this with me, folks. If this is beflummoxed you, that's not a word. If this is
Befuddled or flummoxed.
beflummoxed you, think about it. He sings about one piece of clothing. Sadie Hawkins dance in my khaki pants. There's nothing better. He's wearing the khaki pants to the Sadie Hawkins dance. You don't question that. Nobody questions that. 1 second later, he says, "Do you like my sweater?" He mentions the second piece of clothing. He's clearly wearing the sweater with the khaki pants to the dance. That's it. That's the end.
Khaki pants to the dance. Then the boys from Canton made it to Urban Dictionary.
Is it because of us?
You think we made it to Urban Dictionary? No, it's just a Sadie Hawkins dance. A dance when the girls ask the guys. Also a popular song by Relient K.
Oh, you're saying our boys from Canton. You're not saying the phrase. I misunderstood what you were saying. I thought you were saying the phrase "boys from Canton" was on Urban Dictionary.
Oh, no. Sorry. I'm saying the boys from Canton made it to Urban Dictionary.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Submitted June 20th, 2006. I want to ask Nate to the Sadie Hawkins dance. I think Mary already did. Damn. Then we have a live journal post about the re-release, the 10-year reunion version.
Oh, perfect. Perfect that you're mentioning that. Because literally right this second...
You just started a live journal?
No. Just this moment, we got a reply to that tweet that I was talking about that Hoops replied to. From someone else. Jason White, who is at Future Roscoe on Twitter, wrote, "At Creation Fest 2007, I was talking to Dave Douglas, and he said that the one thing he'd change on Sadie Hawkins Dance is not to do the double bass kick on the chorus. Seems like that memo reached Ethan with the 10-year anniversary version, the 10-year reunion version."
Interesting.
Yeah. I got another note.
Nice.
Creatively about that version right as you're ready to talk about it again.
So over on LiveJournal, Burnt X to Ashes wrote in "Oh No They Didn't" on July 9th, 2014. Well, they just posted the thing. They just posted the YouTube video
of the 10-year version.
And then it has 58 comments on that.
Oh, wow. This song rocks. I'm glad that this is the very first version of the song that has ever existed.
Lexi Badger on July 10th, 2014 responded, "Whoa, was not expecting to see a Relient K post on ONTD."
I don't know what that
Which
means.
is "Oh No They Didn't." I guess it's a live journal page.
Oh, okay.
I'm not really sure how live journal works. "So many flashbacks to my old high school Jesus freaky days. Huh. Relient K played a show in my friend's backyard once. My friend lived in an old farmhouse,
Awesome.
so it was a huge yard, but still, it was a backyard LMAO. It was supposed to be this big outdoor event, and it was backed by the local Christian radio station, but it still kind of flopped a bit, and I'm pretty sure they had no idea WTF they got themselves into. The drummer they had at the time was super nice, though."
I mean, like I said, I've said it a million times, but I saw them in 2001 at a Boy Scout camp that I didn't go to the Boy Scout camp. I just went to the Relient K show, and there were like 8 people there. And then I went to a battle of the bands at some random Catholic college or something, or high school in Massachusetts that was co-headlined by Mercury Switch, the Christian local New Hampshire metalcore band, and then the opener was a battle of the bands.
Amazing.
So Relient K, up through all their youth group, what you would call their youth group days, up until when they really started only playing real venues, they were playing weird little shows like that they would get booked on. The underground Detroit youth group show.
Everybody else is just talking about, oh, here we go. I was going to say everybody else is just kind of commenting on like nostalgia stuff, but CPB 1220 on July 9th, 2014 said, loved them in MXPX in high school, thanks to my religions friend who was in youth group.
I won't go all ballistic and say MXPX is not a Christian band anymore, because back then that's what they're talking about.
Yeah, Danny.
It was so funny on the MXPX Facebook group. Someone made a post about, because MXPX has a lot of Christmas songs, and they were like, MXPX has the best Christmas punk songs, but their spell check changed Christmas to Christian. I don't even know if I'm verbatim saying what their post was, but it was definitely they were trying to say MXPX, I love their Christmas punk songs, or
right.
They have the best Christmas punk songs. This time of year, I always listen to MXPX's Christmas punk songs. Their spell check changed it to Christian by mistake, and the comments underneath went ballistic, and I was like, I was having a great time. I didn't even join in. I just watched the chaos.
Watched the world burn.
I watched the world burn, and I was like,
it was something you had nothing to do with.
It was something I had nothing to do with. I'm like, I'm glad to see things I care about being carried out by other people around the world.
Wow.
Because there are people like, they're not Christian anymore. They haven't been Christian in forever. And even if they are Christian today in their personal lives, it doesn't matter. That's not what reflects in their music. And like, everyone was infighting, but I was like, I don't think anyone's even fully disagreeing. Anyway.
Next up, we have a high school article from LAHS Talon. The Talon. LAHS The Talon. Hey, want to go to Sadie's? All the girls in the bathroom talking, who are they going to take to the Sadie Hawkins? My ears are burning, but I kept on walking, smiling on my face, and air guitar rocking. By Nicole Schreiber, staff writer, March 25th, 2008. These lyrics are from Relient K song Sadie Hawkins Dance and are a pretty accurate depiction of what goes on before the Sadie's Dance, anxiously approaching on April 14th. The Sadie's Dance is a common practice among many American high schools. This tradition was originated in a cartoon strip called Lil Abner, the homeliest girl in all them hills. Sadie Hawkins was released and chased all of the town's bachelors. Whichever lucky or unlucky guy she caught would be her husband. Today, did she never catch one? Did she finally catch one? Is that when they finally stopped doing the bit? Because this was a long running bit. So how did that work? Today, the idea of Sadie Hawkins has changed into an event in which girls are given the choice to pick whichever guy their heart desires, instead of having to go with the first guy that asks her. However, see? Right there. This gives girls the chance to ask whichever guy she wants instead of having to go with the first guy that asks her, because women are more likely to be like, yes, I'll go with you, whereas guys are just like, no. However, because of this role swap, the girls are now swamped with the same pressure guys feel before homecoming or prom. Girls feel obligated to ask a guy because it is a welcome from the social guidelines for other dances, for this is one time that they have the freedom to choose their date. Girls are meticulous and don't want to ask their date like everybody else. They try to be creative and original. They give it a lot more thought than guys do. Girls try to be cute, unlike guys who just buy the girl the usual red rose, sophomore Kayla Tam said. Wait, you're telling me that sometimes guys ask girls to dances by giving them like a red rose? They don't just send them an email? Like, that's how I was asked from.
Memorandum. Upcoming school dance. To whom it may concern, Jessica or affiliated staff members, would you be interested in attending? This isn't me she's talking about, by the way.
No.
Because we didn't know each other when she was in high school.
No.
Because that would have been illegal.
They also don't want to give the wrong impression to the guys, so they really think in depth about how they're going to pop the question. Sadie's is more of a friendly dance, Kayla said. Girls don't want it to come across that they like the guy, even if they do. It is also a much bigger deal for a girl to ask a guy because it is contradictory to what society is used to. And the twist...
Yeah, well, society should learn a thing or two. We're in a post-Joker world, folks.
Oh, no.
And society should do what
boy.
we say.
Oh, boy. And the twist in the system makes more pressure. It's always in the guy's hands, Junior Tava Norham said. More pressure is on the girls now they are in control. Underneath their tough facade, boys actually get nervous before the Sadie Hawkins dance. The roles have been switched and the guys don't know what to do. They get uncomfortable because guys aren't used to waiting to be asked. They're usually the ones who have to be proactive and do the asking. Guys like to have control over the situation. Freshman Colin Mulkey said. It gives them confidence. Guys don't know what to do with themselves when they have to sit on the sidelines and wait to be asked. Well, maybe they should learn. But the general male popular likes being asked by girls because they are relieved from the pressure they usually have to cope with. However, many said they would not attend the Sadie's dance if they were not asked. Girls can go in groups, dress up, and put makeup on together. Guys can't do that, so they just don't go, sophomore Mark Conrad said. Who says? Haven't they ever seen 16 Candles?
I said that last week. I said this song's basically like a John Hughes movie. Speaking of MXPX, they're constant. There's a lot of 80s movie references buried, sometimes obvious and sometimes buried in MXPX songs. So in a way, this is kind of like Relient K writing an MXPX song by referencing sort of that 80s movie feel. Just saying. Nice.
We have next up the Waltonian High School Sadie Hawkins dance announcement. This is from February 14th. 2008, Sadie Hawkins Dance preview. The Sadie Hawkins Dance in my khaki pants. There's nothing better. Oh. The girls ask the guys. It's always a surprise. There's nothing better. Baby, do you like my sweater? The hottest event at Eastern this February is straight out of a Relient K song. The Student Government Association's freshman class, partnering with the Student Activities Board, is hosting the Sadie Hawkins Dance this year on February 22nd from 9 p.m. to 1 a.m. in the gym.
Whoa!
In the rec gym. Although this, I love how, straight to the point this is.
Come home, work sucks, what?
Although this dance isn't the typical Sadie Hawkins day that Relient K sang about, it is a good chance to do something fun and out of the ordinary on a Friday night. Is what me or you?
Some phone keeps going off, but I don't think it's me.
It's not me.
Oh, it's our third phone.
Oh.
Sorry.
Student activities. We have a media phone.
Yeah, we have
turned off.
We have a third phone that T-Mobile insisted on giving us, and it's not on most of the time, but it's on tonight because we were using it for watching a hockey game. Oh my gosh, I'll go turn it off while you finish reading this.
Student Activities Board Entertainment Coordinator Samantha Morrow said, girls are more than welcome to ask guys as their date, but we don't want to make it just couples, but something for everyone to go to. The cost to get in is $1, and Eastern photo IDs are required for admission. Look out for flyers around campus and remember to dress to impress. What if your significant other goes to a different school, though? I guess they can't go. Only Eastern kids. Then we have tips on asking a guy to the Sadie Hawkins dance.
I definitely want to hear this.
This is over on the smokesignal.org, MSJ's official newspaper. This is from February 21st, 2012. Girls, it's that time of year again where we are in control and have the opportunity to do the unconventional. Ask a guy to a dance. Yes, that's right. The Sadie Hawkins dance is only a few weeks away, which means it's time to start figuring out who to ask and, more importantly, how. One of my male friends so eloquently put, guys don't go for the romantic stuff that girls fall for. Just straight up ask him. I guess that could be one approach to asking a guy to say
guys
this.
like clear communication.
Or you
Which is
could
not really true either.
Or you could take the road less traveled by and go all out and have fun with it. After all, it is our one and only chance to be on the other side of the ask. It shouldn't have to be, though. Endless options await your discovery, but here are a few suggestions to get you started. 1, find a guy. It's good tip. Good tip right there.
Look around. Find a guy. Is that a guy? Ask them. What's their pronouns?
This is probably the most difficult and most crucial step. It's important to ask someone you have a good chance with, one of your really close friends, someone you talk to a lot, or someone you get along well with. Refrain from choosing someone obscure that you've only said hi to in the hallways a few times, or just occasionally smiled at. Or not. Shoot your shot. Good Lord. I know it's surprising, but occasional eye contact does not make you, quote unquote, hella tight. Step 2. I love this clip art on the next one of a little detective man. Step 2. Find out his schedule.
It's a very clip-arty clip art, like the kind of thing you'd put in a church bulletin of a Sherlock Holmes looking cartoon.
I love that he's smoking a pipe for some reason. After you've narrowed down it. Step 2, find out his schedule. After you've narrowed it down to the guy you want to ask, find out his schedule. You can take the more Sherlock Holmes approach and subtly stalk him between his classes, or
this is clearly
go the resourceful route.
This is clearly light satire.
And ask his friends to tell you. This is an important step, as knowing his schedule can be extremely helpful during your ask. Step 3, ask. Coming up with a creative way to ask a guy to Sadie's is probably almost as difficult as choosing the actual guy, but worry not. The Smoke Signal has provided you with a couple of different approaches that you can take and put your own spin on. The romantic approach. And then there's a picture of a drippy heart. Freeze red-colored dye water in a heart shape with a note on the inside. Give the heart to the guy you're asking, and he'll see that there's a note stuck inside and wait for it to melt. Wouldn't it get all icky? When he can are you using
so elaborate.
The water, like those waterproof pens and paper? When he can read the note, it won't. Well, you can see through water, even if it does have red dye in it. When he can, how do you make sure that it doesn't melt before you get there? Whatever. When he can read the note, it will say, "Now that you've melted my heart, will you go to Sadie's with me?"
This is so elaborate.
I don't think that's a good idea. I don't think guys are going to like that. As a girl who wrote poetry like about boys in high school, they don't like that. Don't do that. Don't do anything romantic. They're not going to like it.
I would have liked it.
Thanks,
I'm
Danny.
sorry. But this is something I found on YouTube. Like, just looking for Sadie Hawkins Dance, there's a ton of non-Relient K related Sadie Hawkins Dance stuff, and a lot of them are Sadie Hawkins Dance proposals.
Oh yeah, the more elaborate you make it, the more likely he can't say no, because it would be too embarrassing.
Right. And I think a lot of the Sadie Hawkins Dance proposal videos, which are basically promposal style things, like big, elaborate, wild, goofy, over-the-top things, in a lot of cases, they appear to be, at least at surface from an outsider's point of view, like, given. Like they're guys and girls that are known to be friends or boyfriend, girlfriend. So they're not going to be, like, awkward. Mm-hmm. Like, I didn't find any awkward things of, like, a girl really putting herself out there for a guy she barely knows. It seems to always be, like, a whole group of friends together rallying around for this one girl to make this big, fun promposal style thing for her boyfriend in what is clearly not going to be putting your heart on your sleeve and putting yourself out there at a risk thing. Right. Not saying that those aren't on YouTube, but when I search for Relient K related Sadie Hawkins Dance stuff and those come up in the algorithm, the like handful I clicked definitely were not that. One, I've already posted on the social media going weeks back. It was called Relient M. And it's one of the many gender-bending full music video things where it's like girls being the guys in the song or there are a ton of other ones where guys are being the girl mentioned in the song. And this one, Relient M on YouTube, it's actually a promposal for the guy. Like, it's a group of her and her gal pals all together doing a full music video to Sadie Hawkins Dance to prompose to this one guy.
The next one is straight up out of like a 90s or early 2000s rom-com.
That clip art right there. That clip art I used, it's the blonde girl reaching out to the nerdy guy, and it says dance. I used that on a social media post in the last week.
That's for the nerdy approach, which we'll get to next. So the edible approach.
Just find some loser who's definitely not going to say no.
The way to any guy's heart is through his stomach. Any ask involving food is an almost guaranteed acceptance. I don't know about that again. You can go simple and just make them a sandwich. It's what they've wanted for so long anyways. What is this, from the 50s? They just want you to make them a sandwich?
They're tired of cold lunches.
Or get more extravagant and make a pizza with olives or pepperoni spelling out Sadie's. Okay, I meant like you'd see like olives or pepperoni spelling out something in a movie. Not that you'd make it yourself. Just
remember
buy one.
When I think of when the phrases hot lunch and cold lunch meant something, that's usually just in school and to old-timey folks. Like, oh man, I really wish I had the money for a hot lunch, but that's a luxury I can't afford during the Depression. But when you become an adult, the term hot lunch is meaningless. It's like, yeah, if I'm going to order food, I'm going to order whatever I want.
Yeah, sometimes you want hot, sometimes you want cold.
But
whatever.
in school, the term hot lunch and cold lunch is, to me, in the 90s, was still pretty relevant to, like, are we getting a hot lunch today or a cold lunch?
The nerdy approach. Hold up a sign that says, I made a sin because I think I will have a tan of fun with you at Sadie's. If they get confused and don't understand your punny wit, shake your head in disapproval and walk away. They're not worthy of going with you. I don't understand.
Well, you're not worthy of going to Sadie Hawkins.
I made a sin, S-I-N, cause, C-O-S, I think I will have a tan of fun with you at Sadie's. Sinkistan? I don't understand.
I gotta look at this. I made a sin cause.
Now I just feel dumb because I don't understand their witty pun.
I made a sin cause. I think I will have a tan of fun with you. Is that like cosine, like math language? I don't know. Someone call in and explain.
Yeah, if you understand this, let us know.
You're better people than us. You can have
or you're still in high school.
Right.
The extravagant approach. Gather up a bunch of your and his friends and conduct a flash mob. This is a large-scale synchronized dance that appears to be randomly timed. You can either put this to his favorite song or go with something more obvious, such as Sadie Hawkins Dance by Relient K. Have the flash mob end with your friend spelling out Sadie's and wait a few minutes for his response as he gets over the shock of your incredible ask. Regardless of who you ask and how, remember to just have fun and maybe even push the boundaries of your comfort zone. Don't be afraid to ask teachers or advisors for help. Don't be afraid to ask teachers or advisors.
Oh my god.
They enjoy these things as much as we do. I don't know about that either. Be creative and enjoy the fruitful results of your work at the dance on the 24th. Then I just have the, like, a little bit more just Sadie Hawkins, Lil Abner stuff. I have the Sadie Hawkins Day issue just for you to look at. If you please, Dan.
Which I don't even believe if that's necessarily the Sadie Hawkins one, or that's like a commemorative, like everyone knows what a Sadie Hawkins dance is now, so put it back on the front cover of the latest issue of Lil Abner.
Yeah. So that was all that I had for Sadie Hawkins Dance. What do you have, Dan?
Oh, not much. That is not true. I got so much. And there's a lot of official stuff too, so we got to obviously start there. And yeah, so we've talked about the original version, we've talked about the gold remix, we have talked about the 10-year reunion redo of the song. What else could we possibly have? So when it comes to Sadie Hawkins Dance live videos, there are so many YouTube videos of Relient K playing this song in 2008, because that is pretty much when iPhone usage and ability to easily upload videos to YouTube directly from your phone align. So 2008, even though YouTube had been around since, 2004 or 5, I don't remember exactly, and iPhones had been around since 2007, I think, maybe even 2006, it took a couple of years for that perfect synergy where suddenly, in 2008, that's when everyone at Warped Tour had an iPhone on them and were waiting for all the bands to play their favorite song, record it, and upload it to YouTube. So 2008 Warped Tour, you have pretty much almost every performance of Relient K from the 2008 Warped Tour playing Sadie Hawkins Dance, because everyone with the brand new iPhone was waiting for them to play it. They record it, they upload it to YouTube. That's the Warped Tour with the Bird and the B-Sides backdrop, the tennis racket, the bee, and the typography of the Bird and the B-Sides album there. You remember what I'm talking about?
Yep.
We've seen those videos.
Yep.
Tons and tons and tons of Sadie Hawkins Dance uploads.
I think we went to one of those shows.
Of Warped Tour?
Not of Warped Tour.
But with that backdrop.
With the backdrop, yeah. I meant in like 08.
So, I don't know. None of them feel worth playing to me. There's so many of them, and they're early iPhones, and they look okay, but they don't sound great. What we'll do instead is, what I was kind of surprised is no one had really gone ahead that I could find. And Sadie Hawkins Dance, Relient K, there's so many search results. I dug and dug and dug as best I could. I had a hard time trying to find everything that I possibly could. But I was kind of surprised to see that no one really uploaded, YouTube footage from like the YMCA skate park show that we're constantly seeing. Maybe that's a year before this song came out. I don't think it was.
Could be. I don't know.
But instead I had to go to some of the full shows because Sadie Hawkins Dance early performances with Brian and the band weren't uploaded as easily for me to find. Here's Sadie Hawkins Dance just specifically from pre-iPhone YouTube days. Instead, I'll go to Cornerstone 2003. This is uploaded by Stimpy789, and this is Relient K performing Sadie Hawkins Dance at Cornerstone 2003 with Brian and Dave in the band.
Nice.
This is our last song. Thanks for making this enjoyable for us. Grab a dance partner.
Thanks for making this enjoyable for us. It sounds like the most bare bones compliment. Jessica, I've grown very fond of you. I care for you greatly in this marriage.
I feel like it's about to, once it kicks in, it sounds all nice. Now once it kicks in, the speaker's just going to go.
Yeah, maybe. But I mean, this is a camcorder shot from far back. We've definitely played clips of this 2003 Cornerstone performance before, so let's see. Little rough launch right there, but that's okay. It's live, it's real, you're there, it's amazing, it's rocking. Rock is not meant to be perfect. And if you think it is, I hate you. I'm just kidding.
Oh, no.
Just kidding.
girls in the bathroom talking. I gotta take to the city out, cause my fears are burning. But I kept on walking, a smile on my face, and a good guitar rocking. Sadie Hawkins Dance, in my baggy pants, there's nothing better. The girls and the guys, it's always a surprise. There's nothing better than you do it sweater. Sitting in the back of my next class napping, got a place.
I love that you can see that MXPX must be coming on next or
Yeah,
playing
we're talking
later
about it.
because, the drum kit is in the background.
I feel like it's been a year since we have really commented on that, but it's true. So let's get to the slow, pretty part and see what that sounds like in 2003. Because it sounds fantastic. I love it. Relient K remains in my heart. Brian, Matt, and Dave. That's how I fell in love with them originally. I overshot it just a little bit. Let's go back.
I'm here for the lineup with the Johns. Either with Dave or Ethan.
Whatever. You're such a sell. You're such a newbie.
No, it's because the first time that I saw them was in what was that, 2005, I think. Yeah.
Right.
All right, I want this to be loud and accurate and full of pep.
He's so passive aggressive this show.
I want this to be accurate. We have had a sustainable time here today. This has been a very agreeable time. Please don't ruin this, and please make these lyrics accurate, and I make them enjoyable for me.
Goodness gracious.
The first rock band I ever got into.
Somebody toss that man some Skittles and combos. He needs to eat.
The first rock band, that I ever got into, well, that was They Might Be Giants. So the second rock band I ever got into was Nirvana. And there is some early, I think it was Italy, I could be completely wrong about that, but there is some bootleg where is a rock festival and everyone is singing along super loud to every song. And then at one point, Kurt Cobain just starts purposefully mumbling every song to make everyone stop. He keeps singing every song incorrectly on purpose so that everyone will stop singing so loudly, and then it works and he starts singing the rest of the show correctly. Like, that's passive-aggressive rock behavior towards your fans for the sake of accuracy for your show.
Wow.
Cafeteria for some good seating. Found a good spot, a cheerleader seating. Quarterback asked me if I'd like a beating. I said that's one thing I want me. Since I'm rather smart and cunning, to got down the next song. Only to stop by a girl so stunning. Only to stop by a girl so stunning. She said, let's move. And good with talking. You go with me. Where are we going, Cornerstone?
We got some nice Brian time right here in this
I
video
love
by
this,
Stimpy789.
I love the bass.
Yeah, not only you're
so
hearing
nice
his
and
bass,
high,
but
yeah.
they focus right in on Brian in that moment. Fantastic. Love it. More Brian love. I know there's been moments they've said, I think Hoops has said in things in FAQs and stuff with fans that they're always asking him to come back for shows and stuff, and it just hasn't happened. There's a 2004 performance, which is definitely Brian's last cornerstone, and I know that there's some songs on here that are kind of rare that you get to hear Brian perform. That's not what we're here to talk about today, but let's just double check how they sound just a year later, right on the cusp of sort of their not fundamental, their big pinnacle era, right before comes out, with Brian still in the band. Let's hear what Sadie Hawkins Dance sounds like that night.
Hawkins Dance?
So it sounds. I think it sounds a lot more.
Sweater.
I think it sounds a lot more confident and a little tighter.
Yeah.
Right. Faster. Like just. Yeah, and this is just a year, 2 years after the song has been done, but I feel like they're really getting tight. I wonder what Relient K would have sounded like into their days with Brian still in the band. He's just the wild man of the bass, right? Like, and that's not absolutely not, because you can hear here, they sound incredibly tight and amazing. Like, Brian didn't leave the band, like, the way a lot of people are famous for being kicked out of bands or something, where they're on the cusp of blowing up and this guy's not cutting it. That's not what happened with Brian. Brian left the band because he apparently was fed up. He had a fight with Matt Thiessen, and there was just basically a fight, and he was like, I'm just kind of done with this and I'm gone. Like, that's the reason that we know of, right? But I would like to know, like, you know, it'd be wonderful to know. We can never know, but I'm just saying, like, they sound incredibly tight and really good here, and they're just going to get better and better and better. They're going to get a little bit, you know, they're going to get tighter, more professional and mature sounding as they go. And I don't just mean mature thematically, I mean mature musically. And if Brian had still been in the band, I think they would have stayed on that trajectory, and Brian would have lived up to that. And I would love to know what that's like. But instead, we got John Warren. John Warren. I'm just kidding. I'm just totally kidding. I don't know where I'm going with this. It's just like, it's funny to, like, this is this cornerstone, pun completely intended, this cornerstone of time. Like, here it is. You can hear what Relient K is going to sound like into the era, but Brian's still in the band. It's his last weeks in the band, and they're sounding just as good, I think, as they would with John Warren taking over bass. They're both amazing bass players. I was just joking around by besmirching John Warren's name. Let's try to find the slow pretty part again. That is not it. We're good. It's a long timeline to scrub through. I'm not going to find it now. But now, I'm sorry, we got to do this last one, Cornerstone 2006. This kind of finishes out the trilogy of what is available on YouTube of full Cornerstone sets. This is uploaded, again, by Stimpy789. This is with John and Dave in the band. John Warren playing bass and John Schneck playing third guitar to Sadie Hawkins Dance. Let's see what this sounds like now, 2 years later. And then we're going to skip ahead. Wait a second. 2008, that's 2 years. 2018, that's 10 years. That's 12. And then 4 more years. 16. Then we'll skip ahead 16 years. I just used a little bit of that Common Core math right there.
Sadie Hawkins Dance.
The crowd knows it and they love it. They're going wild.
I like the little added piano because, yeah, we're fully into piano time by this point. And it's heavier, it's faster, it's even more confident. You can hear how they're just getting, like, fully acclimated to just knowing this song inside and out by this point.
Girls in the bathroom talking, they gonna take it to Sadie Hawkins. My ears are burning and I walk and smile on my face. I can hear the guitar popping. Sadie Hawkins dance, my candy pants, there's nothing better. The girl is the guys, the song is a surprise. There's nothing better.
I just love that it keeps evolving, and the song doesn't change, but they just sound tighter and better and better. Oh my gosh, look at this cute little frame.
Aww.
It's Matt and Schneck just all lined up,
rocking out
together.
with Dave in the background.
I'm taking a screen cap of that. Adorable. Okay, let's see if we can get to the slow pretty part. And I skipped ahead again, and John Warren's by himself on the other side of the stage.
Aww.
Like, I'm not part of the party. First, Danny pretends to make fun of me earlier and says I'm not as good as Brian, and now I'm over here by myself.
Yep. You know what we're doing. We're waving to each other. Maybe we're saying hi. Hi, guys. Hello. How's everybody? Yeah, good? Okay, keep doing this. Also, get those stanky cornerstone armpits aired out for your neighbor. Alright, sing one.
Do you need to air out your stanky corner pit armpits?
Corner
pit armpits, cornerstone armpits.
Your corner pit armstones? I sure do.
It's late. I'm tired.
I love it. That's fantastic. Well, we heard what it's like hearing that Brian bass. We heard what it's like hearing that Warren bass. Now let's hear a little bit of Ethan bass on this song. This is from 2022. Almost a year ago, Jessica. Can you believe it?
Wow.
10 months ago, when you and I were in Boston, Massachusetts at the Paradise Rock Club. This is Jessica's own shot on her iPhone performance of Relient K playing Sadie Hawkins Dance in Boston with Semler, who comes up on stage to sing along. This is that performance. I think that's always a cute thing. You should always just pull back on the first Sadie Hawkins and let the crowd say it. I was kind of expecting to hear those in the earlier Cornerstone ones, but that didn't quite happen. Now Semler's comes out on stage. There she is. But then I want to hear Ethan's bass on the slow pretty part. Let's hear that.
Some good seating, finding a spot by the cheerleaders eating. The quarterback asked me if I'd like a beating. I said that's one thing.
I forgot. And then, okay, so go to Sadie Hawkins Pod YouTube channel. At 1 minute and 44 seconds into the video, that's when Schneck comes over to our side of the stage and stands right in front of you to do the wave back and forth.
Oh, yeah.
And then he looks at us and he's like, "Hey!" And he waves at us.
Nice.
Because he knew we were in town, but he had a cold and he couldn't come out and see us ahead of time. We talk about it in the Boston Report mini episode.
That's right.
So
and he ended up on the wrong side of the stage from him.
Right. And there's an identical sort of setup during both the 2005, the 2006, what would we say it was? The 2006 Cornerstone performance, when Matt and John Schneck are all lined up together rocking out. The same thing happened in Boston that night. I got to get a screen cap.
That's great.
How it started versus how it's going.
Love it.
So those are the live performances. There's also a like during 10. I've just played enough live performances. I feel pretty similar to the one we just heard. 10. Apparently they must have opened at least some of the shows because Yahoo like music streaming did like a live stream of some show. I guess I could get the details. So here it is. So uploaded by Panicalodian at the Disco. Panicalodian at the Disco.
Nice.
Apparently, Yahoo Live Nation streaming events captured this 10 anniversary tour, St. Andrews Hall in Detroit, Michigan. So if you also want to hear like a professionally recorded and shot multi-camera version of the song, here it is, Sadie Hawkins Dance Live, Relient K, 10th Anniversary Tour. From 2014, so from the time of the tour. Like, literally from the time of the tour. Someone must have screen grabbed it and uploaded it. Panicalodian at the Disco uploaded it right then. But we just played a bunch of live versions. So instead, here is a much more rare version, and these aren't on YouTube, and I always forget that they exist. But I think it's like, I don't want to get these mixed up. I don't know if these are part of the Rhapsody sessions. Like, you remember the music site Rhapsody would do like sessions with people, but then there's these there's these acoustic sessions. They might be the same thing. I'll double check the facts of it in the future. But I'm going to upload these to YouTube myself. These are part of those Google Drives that go around of like rare Sadie Hawkins, rare Relient K audio files. This is an acoustic version by Relient K themselves, I think, for Rhapsody.com. And here it is. This is a pretty rarer one that I'll put on YouTube later.
What was that dark note? It was so pretty, and then suddenly it was like, oh no.
Oh, I would love to hear a minor version of Sadie Hawkins Dance. Someone out there do that. Daniel, can you do that? Can someone do that? Who can just like make Sadie Hawkins Dance minor? I always love YouTube videos where it's like speaking of Nirvana earlier, it's like, here's Smells Like Teen Spirit in major key, I think, or maybe it's already in major key, whatever. Here's a Metallica song in major key. They're always so fun to listen to.
Girls in the bathroom talking, who they gonna take to the Sadie Hawkins. My ears are burning, but I kept on walking, smile on my face, and an air guitar rocking.
His what are burning?
His Whataburger is burning. So this is a a session for a music website. This is just a fun little thing.
Just
so obviously
having
there's
a good time.
Yeah, and they messed up something at the beginning. They're laughing. They're just having a good time.
The Sadie Hawkins Dance in my khaki pants.
I keep forgetting that, and I meant to mention that last week. The lyric is the Sadie Hawkins Dance in my khaki pants. In my brain, it lives Sadie Hawkins Dance in my khaki pants.
Same.
But it's not. It's
weird.
I've even listened. When I realized it, I went back and I would listen to the main tracks. It's the Sadie Hawkins Dance. Talk about like how there's already lyrics shoehorned in. It's not necessary for him to say the Sadie Hawkins Dance in my khaki pants, but that is what the lyric. That's what the lyric actually is. And I've always wondered why some random people online call us the Sadie Hawkins Pod, because we're not the Sadie Hawkins Pod.
That's
just
why.
like it's not the Ramones and it's not the Huntingtons. It's Huntingtons. It's Ramones. Some people call us the Sadie Hawkins Pod. I don't really care. I think it's cute.
I'll take it because you're talking about it.
Yeah, exactly. But it must be because people call it the Sadie Hawkins Dance. One I don't abide by though is people who say the MTV or the IMDb. It's neither. It's MTV and it's IMDb. But people say both those things as well. But yeah, he clearly enunciates it in this acoustic version. It's the Sadie Hawkins Dance in my khaki pants.
There's nothing better. Oh, oh, oh. girls ask the guys, it's always a surprise. There's nothing better, baby, do you like my sweater? Sitting in the back of my next class napping.
Napping. Love it. You guys hear the slow pretty part.
It's all the slow pretty part, Dan.
It is. Turn the whole song into a slow pretty part.
This is awkward. It's fun though.
Adorable.
I feel like that explains our podcast. That's awkward. It's fun though. So I think you can hear
That's it. Put that as a drop at the beginning of every episode now.
or at the end.
Or you're shaking the mic. There you go.
So those are the official versions of Relient K playing this song.
Nice.
So we have a lot. So there's actually not as many covers as I thought I would find. There are plenty, but what I found a ton of, obviously, is fan videos, AMVs. There's a Merlin shipping video, FMV, with cast members of Supergirl, with a cast member of Supergirl, so I knew Jessica would care about that. We can talk about all those on Patreon, because they're all very visual, and there's so many. But let's really talk about the covers that kind of matter most, and we're definitely making up for the runtime on this episode.
All covers matter, Danny.
All covers matter. Wait, isn't that racist to say all covers matter?
You knew what I meant. I meant not just the, official popular covers matter. The unknown underdog covers matter, too. Is that better?
I understand what you're saying. So here is... So we get... I'm completely moving on from that. So, hey, awkward, but it's a little fun. That's the new slogan of the show.
Yep.
So we get the full gamut of the official tribute acts.
Yeah.
We got Vitamin String Quartet. We got the Piano Dreamers. We got the guitar tribute players. We got, what are they called? Sparrow Sleeps.
Sparrow Sleeps.
And we've got the Pickin' On series, who I always forget. The band is called Cornbread Red, but it's called the Pickin' On series, and they're both listed. That's both their artist names on Spotify. So let's start with that, because I know it's the one you like the least. This is Sadie Hawkins Dance from the Pickin' On Relient K tribute album, Bluegrass Relient K.
Good Lord. Yeehaw! Doing the Cotton Eye Joe at the Sadie Hawkins Dance.
All the girls in the all the girls in the outhouse talking. Whose cousin are they taking to the Sadie Hawkins? Why would we date our cousins, Shelbyville? Why? Because they're so attractive.
And who they gonna take to the Sadie Hawkins? My ears are burning. I kept on walking, a smile on my face and an air guitar rocking. The Sadie Hawkins Dance in my khaki pants. There's nothing better. Oh, oh, oh. The girls, that's the guys. It's always a surprise. There's nothing better, baby. Do you like my sweater? See.
This is so nice. I love this, and I know
It's quaint.
I know you don't like
It's
Cornbread
cute.
Red's vocals. Isn't that your main problem?
Yeah, this is fine. This is cute.
Yeah, this doesn't quite hit that same waiting for my table at Cracker Barrel. This is a little too peppy to be waiting for my table at Cracker Barrel.
Sure.
Am I gonna buy peanut butter Buckeyes again on this trip? I got them last time. Maybe there's something else. I'll try a different candy I've never tried this time.
Grab a Dolly Parton CD on your way out.
Snapping, gotta give a speech, then I bow to the clapping. Told a funny joke, got the whole class.
I would love to know what's the history behind Cornbread Red Pickin' On series. Like, I feel like we know a lot about Vitamin String Quartet. Like, they're not a mystery. Some of these other ones are more...
That's it. We need to get Cornbread Red on the pod.
Let's try to hear the slow, pretty part.
Something tells me it's not going to be slow or pretty.
That's one thing I won't be needing.
Yeah, it's not as... It's kind of on par with the rest of the album. It's not... With the rest of this version of the song. It's not, like, really slowed down. It's still pretty, though. It's still very pretty. Well, if you want to hear a really slow, pretty version of the song, here's Vitamin String Quartet. The same people who do the soundtrack to Bridgerton. They weren't doing the soundtrack to Bridgerton when we started this podcast 4 years ago. But now they do the Did I say podcast to Bridgerton?
You just said 4 years ago. We didn't start the podcast 4 years ago.
We started this podcast 4 years ago.
Don't you lie to me. There's no way.
We started in 20...
It was like 3 years ago.
We're in the fourth year.
There you go.
So I get thrown off by that stuff. That's right. We're approaching the fourth year. December 2018 will be our fourth year. Well, now that makes me feel really stupid because
December 2018 will be our fourth year.
December 2023 will be our fourth year. Now I feel extra stupid on top of how fun but awkward I am right now because I tweeted 6 hours ago, our podcast has been around the same amount of time it took Relient K from the self-titled to time for us to work with a major label. Well, it's not quite true, Danny, is it? You still got 11 months to get there. Whatever. That's not like people who are like saying like...
We should start looking for that major label now, though. It's okay, Dan.
I'm on Twitter celebrating the 10th anniversary of Collapsible Long, and some people are like, the 10th anniversary is until June, and I'm like, this is the 10th anniversary year. You know, Relient K didn't wait until November to start the 10 tour. I'm not waiting until June to celebrate Relient K's greatest album ever, Collapsible Long. I to this day, I'm still shocked when we dug into who Vitamin String Quartet was right before, you know, their big gig as the score of Bridgerton, because I swear their string tribute albums to famous pop and rock bands sound like keyboard. I don't care. That first 10 seconds of this song sounded like keyboard strings. I still can't believe it's real strings. Like, this sounds better. This higher one, but the like that bassier version, like it sounds like keyboard strings. It sounds like MIDI. So that's the Vitamin String Quartet. You love the Vitamin String Quartet, right? Like, didn't you have these on iTunes? Didn't you purchase these?
I did. Yeah.
I was just never blown away by the Vitamin String Quartet, and I thought that they were electronic. I thought they were MIDI or keyboard.
I just liked having a different version of, you know, the songs I love.
Who out there loves the Vitamin String Quartet? And I don't want to hear from Bridgerton fans. I want to hear people who knew about Vitamin String Quartet back before Twitter existed. So we still got three more major tribute versions to play. This is the Piano Dreamers. Thank you for listening to Sadie Hawkins Pod. If you're enjoying the show, yes, I use this continually as the bed track for our breaks. I probably used it again this week because once I've leveled one together, I'm mixed one together, I'm not going to redo it every week. But every time we redo the Patreon read in the middle of the show, I try to pick a different piano version. It's usually Piano Dreamers, but sometimes I also pick like random people's like those learn to play this on piano thing. I try not. Well, I think I did once use a random person's piano tribute, and then I actually felt bad after. I'm like, I shouldn't be using some sort of like person who just put this on the internet for fun for us literally asking you for money. I realized that was wrong. I don't remember what episode that was,
Yeah,
or
not cool, Dan.
I'd go and undo it. I just don't remember what episode that was. But yeah, this is Sadie Hawkins Dance by Piano Tribute Players. And now when I hear it, I think, time to give us money. It's time to pass around the Sadie Hawkins pod plate.
We'd like to thank our patrons.
Yeah, but we're passing on the plate. We're asking you to join the Sadie Hawkins pod Patreon now. This is offering time.
Right.
I could tell Jessica didn't get what I was going
I got
for.
it. I was just moved on from it.
So you hear that one all the time. So here's one that we don't hear all the time. And this is the guitar tribute players, because the Piano Dreamers are sometimes called the Piano Tribute Players because these tribute albums get uploaded multiple times under multiple artist names. The Guitar Tribute Players didn't record a lot of Relient K songs. They only covered so many, but they definitely did this one. So we finally get to play them again. The Guitar Tribute Players to Sadie Hawkins Dance. Let's see what you think of this one. What do you think?
I love it. It's beautiful.
It's nice. It's very nice. Nothing else to say. It's so...
It's pretty.
It's
like
majestic.
It a lot.
It's better than
It's
anything
majestic.
Relient K ever recorded.
Oh, no.
I'm just kidding. Well, I know that we're getting tired, but try not to fall asleep while I play the lullaby version by Sparrow Sleeps. Now, this tribute album did not exist when we started the podcast. They finally came out with this later, and I always wondered, how did Sparrow Sleeps never do a Relient K album? They finally did it a couple years into the podcast, just in time for us to talk about their version of Sadie Hawkins Dance. The whole thing is the slow, pretty part, as you kind of said it would be for something else. Here is from Sparrow Sleep's album Z's instead of This is Sadie Hawkins Dance. I'm skipping 2 minutes into their almost 5-minute version of the song. Jessica, wake up.
Oh, what?
Wake up, you're driving.
What?
Just kidding. What do you think of that? That's lovely.
Lovely.
I like how most of the officially published tributes are just like slowed down, pretty versions on different
Right, yeah.
instrumentation. Different slow, pretty, sleepy versions.
That's lovely, though. I was ready to nod off.
So, officially published on Spotify, there are 2 other covers I found. There's plenty of songs called Sadie Hawkins Dance or Sadie Hawkins Day, but I went through a bunch of them, and only 2 of them that I found are actually covers. So here's the first one of the 2. This is by Colton and Zara. I don't know if that's the name of the band or if that's the name of a duo, but this is Colton and Zara with their cover of Sadie Hawkins Dance, more officially published on Spotify.
All the girls in the bathroom
So a change narrative, a second person narrative.
Not a fan of that. I'm not a fan of the change of the pronouns.
Right. Yeah. I'm not usually either. I understand what they're doing here, though.
Because it's already so shoehorned. The thing is that the song is that there's no breathing room in the song. And so it's like, now you're like extra shoehorning in these lyrics that don't rhythmically work.
I like the idea of, because I said last week, let me finish one thought before I start the second one.
Why can't she be hoping that the girl that she likes is talking in the bathroom about her and is going to ask her to the Sadie Hawkins dance?
I do think it's very cool and just like, it's just normal to sing a song that exists and not change the pronouns just because you are the opposite gender or you are not interested in the romantic gender they're talking about. Relient K has played that perfectly with Manic Monday and Girls Just Want to Have Fun. Like, they know it's a song. The song just exists. Nobody thinks you're gay just because you sang the song the way it actually is. And on Punk Goes Pod, our friends at Punk Goes Pod, they talk about it all the time, how it's like kind of lame, and it's like these dude bro sort of metalcore bands on a lot of the Punk Goes series who will like change the lyrics because they don't want to seem like I don't like boys.
Whoa, why did Dave Mustaine just show up?
They gotta change the lyrics. I understand that. I think it's just cooler and it's just simpler just not to change the pronouns just because that's not what the song's about. The song's about who wrote it, whatever. You're covering it. That's fine. But I like the idea of taking Sadie Hawkins Dance and recontextualizing it from the point of view of the girl. I kind of want to hear this whole song now. I didn't listen to this earlier, but see, does that mean she narratively has to change everything? I went up to him and I said, "You're smooth and good with talking." Like, remember, and this is what I was going to say was...
Or will she just say, she said you're smooth and good with talking?
I said you're smooth.
Go down the next hole running. Only to get stopped by a girl so stunning.
So, okay, now that doesn't really work when it's like only to be stopped by a girl so stunning. You're the girl so... Oh.
Maybe.
Oh, okay.
Only to get stopped by a girl so stunning. She said you're smooth, good with talking. Now go with me to Sadie Hawkins. Sadie Hawkins Dance, had his khaki pants. There's nothing better. The girls ask the guys.
It's an interesting experiment. I'm happy that the experiment exists.
Sure.
While I totally get what you're saying, like if I was a girl and I was going to do a cover of Sadie Hawkins Dance, I wouldn't necessarily take that route. I'm glad someone tried it so we can hear what that's like. But here is another version of the song that's on Spotify, and this is by Sick on Sunday, and this is more of a heavier rockin' version. I wouldn't say it's the heaviest thing, but I'm saying it's just a little heavier than the typical cover. This is by Sick on Sunday.
Almost like if like Hawk Nelson met, I don't know,
Hawk Nelson's Dance.
And then did a Relient
I guess
K
it's kind of
cover.
like, but it's also kind of like, it's also kind of oi-ish.
Yeah.
But not like an authentic oi. Like,
Right.
I'm also looking at their cover art, and they're not an oi band, but this is almost like they're accidental oi.
Now, are they sick on Sunday because they're trying to get out of church, or are they sick on Sunday and they're bummed because it means they don't get out of school on Monday?
Good question. I don't know. They're very under the radar band, not well known. You know, less than 1,000 listens on most of their songs. So I don't know. Good question. 2017 is the album, so I don't even know if they're still together.
Where are they from? Dover?
It doesn't say. They don't have a Dover. So, yeah, I don't know. There you go. Sick on Sunday. I like that. I dream of two things, and I really do. Every week when I look for Relient K covers, I dream of two things, and I want someone out there to do one of or both of these things. I want an all-female Relient K cover band. Or at least, like, there's plenty of female covers of Relient K songs. That's great and all. But I think an all-female version of Relient K, sort of like recontextualizing all those songs, even if you don't change the pronouns, just having an all-female band. It's a thing that happens with a lot of punk bands. There's a lot of, like the Iron Maidens and stuff. That's the most famous version I can think of. Like, recontextualizing, taking back, like, certain music and showing what's it look like just through the lens of just seeing women sing it. The Ramones or the Ramones.
That's amazing.
Sung by like 30 and 40-year-old women. Like, these are things that happen all the time. I would like to see an all-female version of Relient K. I also want to see an actual...
Mood Rings more fun.
Yeah, like I would like to see an all-female version of Mood Rings. I also want an actual hardcore punk band, and there's multiple styles of hardcore and hardcore punk, but I would like to see a hardcore punk version. In whatever version of hardcore they can cover, a hardcore version of Relient K. That would be amazing. Those are the two things I want all the time. We've randomly found like a hardcore version of some song. I think it was Who I Am, Who I've Been. But I really want like an authentic, harder-edged punk version of Relient K's music. Whatever. Almost got it. Almost got both this week. Not quite. But what we have to talk about, everyone is waiting on bated breath. I know that we're all waiting. This truly closes out
Princess
the
of the Sun?
No, I didn't. This truly closes out the VeggieTales saga for us, because
I forgot.
This is the third big VeggieTales Relient K crossover. Now you have Relient K covering the VeggieTales song Pirates Who Don't Do Anything on the VeggieTales Relient K EP, VeggieTales Covered Breakdown. Well, a couple years later, VeggieTales released a compilation called Christian Hit Music, and we talked about it we talked about like VeggieTales cover the 80s and VeggieTales cover this and action songs and all that stuff. They did a Christian hit music cover comp, and they covered Sadie Hawkins' Dance. Are you ready to hear this?
As ready as I'll ever be.
It's me, Larry the Cucumber. I can't do it right. Can't do my voice is too dry. I can't do my Larry right now.
Oh, I thought it was perfect. I was hoping he might show up to intro the podcast next week.
That wasn't my Larry. I'll try again in a minute.
All the girls in the bathroom talking, who they gonna take to the Sadie Hawkins. My ears are burning, but I kept on walking.
They definitely don't wear khaki pants. They don't wear any pants.
The VeggieTales had a cover album called Bob and Larry Go Country, and they covered Jesus Take the Wheel. I saw you about to take a sip, and I'm like, I gotta get this joke out before she swallows her water. Wow. I gotta hear the slow pretty part. How did the veggies do the slow pretty part? Ooh, they do little skits. Definitely gotta hear it then.
That's the guys, it's always a surprise. There's nothing better, baby. Do you like my sweater? That is hilarious! I love the Sadie Hawkins dance! Pick me!
Sadie Hawkins.
Oh, some Italian vegetables just show up in the middle.
The Sadie Hawkins dance must be very awkward when there's only like 3 female veggies and like 25 male veggies, and one of them's already a mom.
It'd be like our college.
It's true.
Scan the cafeteria for some good seating. Found a good spot by the cheerleaders eating.
Oh no,
Who is this?
That's Junior Asparagus. He's way too young to be sitting by the girls and the
How
the
do you
cheerleaders
know
eating.
that's Junior Asparagus?
How do you not know that's Junior Asparagus? Heathen.
The only time I saw VeggieTales was when I was working in the church nursery, when I was in middle school and high school. I don't know. They had it really low on in the background.
Well,
so
then technically you're saved if that's the minimum that you saw.
Beth asked me if I'd like a beating. I said that's one thing I won't be needing. And since I'm rather smart and cunning, I took
They're missing the timing all over this song from as little as we've heard. They're just like, yeah.
off down the next tall running, only to get stopped by a girl so stunning. Only to get stopped by a girl so stunning. She said you're smooth and good with talking. You're going with me to the Sadie Hawkins Dance in my khaki.
Adorable.
Sort
Let's
of
see.
crack a little bit there. It's probably really difficult to keep up that voice while singing.
I'm a veggie tail. I'm some sort of potato. I'm a gourd. I'm a blueberry or something. Oh, that's one of the female ones. It's a blueberry.
So are the females fruits then?
No, I think we literally talked about this in one of our VeggieTales episodes.
Well, that I continue to pay the exact same amount of VeggieTales attention as I did when I was a teenager.
I think the unsaved are the fruits. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh no, Daniel!
That's not so bad. The veggies are the saved, and the it's all the fruits that are, whatever. I was gonna take it to an even darker place. I decided to pull back. Here's a marching band in a restaurant. We're almost done. This is uploaded
To
by.
clarify, this is not VeggieTales any longer.
No. We're done. Now we're moving on to like sort of YouTube. We got a handful of YouTube amateur covers, and this is uploaded by Richard Tuttle 14 years ago. And let's see if there's any explanation. See Harvey conduct the Ataburup Pep Band at BK Kings in Nashville, Tennessee as part of our Mad Cow tour. So I don't know what that means. It's a pep band, and they
You didn't just say words. You just made random noises and put them together.
So this is like the BB King's restaurant in Nashville, and I guess if that's anything like House of Blues, it's probably like a corporately controlled thing where they actually have like local talent come and play, like, you know, bands, you know, blues bands, and in this
I thought
case
you meant
it's a
these
marching
kids
band.
were coming up like mariachi style in the middle of a band.
No.
in the middle of a restaurant.
Right.
I was like, this is peculiar.
It is a pep band marching band performing at a
I see.
at a thing.
But
I don't know if
that
it's
you explained that they have like a stage. I'm like, oh, okay,
it's
that
not a
makes more
stage.
sense.
No, they're
Oh.
just standing on the floor.
Oh, okay.
They're just standing on the restaurant floor.
Well, you know, it's Nashville. That's what
Yeah.
you do there.
A 1, 2, 3, 4.
The parents are loving it.
One of the parents is picking through her to-go bag, like, are these the right chicken wings? And then she looked over and laughed, like, oh, we're having a fun time. But she's looking through her takeout bag just to double check her order while they're starting.
There's two adult men dancing around. Not sure if they're with the band or not, but
They were just there for brunch.
Yeah.
They were just there right before their creme brulee. They're like, time to get up and dance to some marching band Relient K music.
It's the worst ska band I've ever heard.
How dare you? How dare you?
the band leader, the grown-up who's in charge of this, is trying to get the audience to start clapping, and none of them are having it. He's clapping his hands above his head excitedly, and no one's joining in.
I'm having my mimosa. I come to BB King's every Sunday. I do not put up with these shenanigans. That's hilarious. That's amazing. Yeah. I think it sounds really good. I don't know.
Super fun.
And here's like a teen band, like the classic teen band, just kind of hashing it out. Favorite song, just doing their best. This is Pivel Kid. Is this really? Is it the YouTube channel name? It's a unusual name. Pville Kid. Pville Kid. PVILLEKID. I spell these things out so you can go look them up on YouTube yourself if you want. But this is Broken Silence, Sadie Hawkins Dance, 14 years ago. This is the band I play for, playing a Relient K favorite at our first gig ever. I'm the drummer.
Nice.
Oh my god, did you hear that?
No.
I played it twice. You can hear you can hear an adult go, Jesus Lord, that is awful. I like to think that we are always encouraging to everyone going out there, even if it's bad, we curb it. Like, yeah, they don't sound great, but it matters that they're out there trying. But you hear someone by the camera go, Jesus Lord, that's awful. Listen to this. I'll play one more time, and then we'll get further into the cover. Oh my god, why are they playing outside of Sears? They're playing at some sort of like coffee house or restaurant in a mall or something, because outside the window is a Sears.
Yep.
Amazing. Now there's a YouTube video of Relient K walking around a Sears before a show, and some people caught them, and some like fans caught them with a camcorder and said, "Are you Relient K?" But this is not that YouTube video. It's so mean.
They said something else first before this is awful.
And Pville Kid uploaded this video, so he knows he heard it, right? Unless he really didn't want to hear it. Beautiful. That adult doesn't know what the hell he's talking about.
He's trying to shop for his khaki pants over at the Sears. Pick up some tools.
Jesus God, this is awful. I pay for him to have music lessons, and this is what they sound like. These kids are having a great time, and I'm so proud of them. I'm so proud of them. I'm so proud of you kids.
You're such a good dad.
I'm such a good dad. I'm a better dad than whoever that dad was 14 years ago. Mom, some people just got up to leave. Oh my God.
Look, they finish their food. They're
right?
ready to go.
There they go.
All right.
Okay.
No,
all right. First
done.
of all, it's all gray hairs in the audience. Like it's all like moms and elderly people here. This isn't like a youth group thing. This is like some sort of like...
What kind of gig is this?
What kind of gig is this? It doesn't say. They're outside of Sears. Is this the Red Robin or something? What is this? It makes more sense if they're playing... This is 2 restaurant performances in a row, and this is clearly the lesser of the 2. They're all... There's one kid there, like a little kid. This is a restaurant or a coffee, or like a coffee. This is a stage for sure. How perplexing.
With the owner of a red BMW.
There's more chatter in the background. There's another performance of Dance, Dance, Dance by, I don't know who that is. Del Taco ad, sorry. So they play the Fall Out Boy song Dance, Dance, and then they play the Weezer song We Are All on Drugs. Let's hear Weezer, We Are All on Drugs.
Oh, I'm sure this will go down well. Good Lord.
This doesn't sound much worse than new Weezer. Oh, he's playing electric drums.
Yes, I saw.
The manager of this TGI Fridays is gonna come up and just pull the plug out of the wall because he's like, I told you about singing bad songs. It's like a pink wall with like standard kind of pictures on the wall. It just looks like a pub or a Starbucks or something. Holy moly. Oh, first part gig of 3. Oh, so one of the videos is missing because it says this is video 3 of 4, but the 4th video Pville Kid didn't upload.
Maybe
Pville Kid
down.
and Broken Silence is my new favorite band. I love outsider music though. Like I legitimately love outsider music. Like it's not like I go around listening all day long to bad music, but I take the same stance on, like music that doesn't quite hit the mark that I take on movies. Like I love movies that other people call bad because I legitimately, unironically think that a movie that you think is bad is a beautiful thing because somebody spent months, years of their lives committed to this piece of art that they had to get out there, and they did it. So I think when somebody goes out there and plays a bad rock band, that's good for you. It's amazing. You're living your dream. Oh my god, that cover band we saw at the Viper Room. We never talked about
fantastic.
them. We went to see Danger Gavin, our listener. He had a band. His band was playing at the Viper Room here in Los Angeles. It was a Sadie Hawkins Pod Jimmy Eat World meetup as well because David
Jimmy Eat Pod.
Jimmy Eat World just happened to be.
Yeah, we were just hanging out.
Jimmy Eat Pod. David and Justin were also there. This is months ago. But the band after Danger Gavin was first of it was like this amazing virtuoso jazz guitar guy who played with a laptop to play like all the bed tracks. Then he played this amazing virtuoso. He only played like 3 songs. But then the next band was this amazing like crappy karaoke band, and they were fantastic.
They were Ukrainian.
And I loved them. They were Ukrainian. And I was like, this is amazing.
They played Scotty Doesn't Know.
Yeah, his old school punk song. Scotty Doesn't Know.
That is what he said.
God love them. They're doing the Lord's work, just like Broken Silence.
And I loved that like all of their girlfriends were there, all standing in the front row singing and dancing along, having a blast. It was fantastic. There were like 8 people in the band too.
So what I'm saying is, don't listen to the people out there who want to bring you down and think you didn't try hard enough, you didn't work hard enough, you didn't sound right. Just be yourself and believe in yourself.
Heck yeah.
And if you sound like crap, you don't have to be deluded and be like, oh, I tried to no, yeah, I sounded like crap and I sounded fucking awesome. Sound fucking awesome and like crap. That's what we do every week on this podcast. We're kind of fun but awkward.
If you're listening, you're clearly a fan of outsider podcasts.
There's plenty more covers that I feel like we'll get out of here, but Travis Beck has an acoustic cover you should check out. T. Latham has like some sort of another like liminal space. Here, we'll just do these 2 really quick. Here's Travis.
All the girls in the bathroom talking, who they gonna take to Sadie Hawkins. My ears are burning, but I kept on walking. Smile on my face and their guitar rocking. Sadie Hawkins Dance in my khaki pants, nothing better. Oh, oh, oh.
Love it. Fantastic.
I like that.
Everyone's out there doing the best That's really good. Here's T. Latham in this liminal space. Odd. Look at this stage. Look at this stage. It's covered in fake.
Oh, wow, yeah.
There's like, the stage
decor.
behind them is pitch black. Like they forgot to turn the lights on. I love this. It's someone on a keyboard and someone on guitar.
All the girls in the bathroom talking, gonna take to the Sadie Hawkins.
He sounds really young. This is great. I love it. I love creative effort, and you're all doing amazing.
I bring, but I kept on rocking, a smile on my face, and an air jar rocking. Sadie Hawkins Dance, with my pinky pants, nothing better. Ho, 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 girl loves a guy, toy is a guy, nothing better, dude on a sweater.
And then last one. This is Kings of OK, and this is a slightly. This is a.
Hey, at least we know what we're getting.
I'll say these guys are the Kings of OK. This is from 7 years ago. This is at the Hard Rock Cafe, Pittsburgh. And this is one of those things where you have like kind of a local band playing in the restaurant side of things. I love that shit. This is from 2015. Shot on May 13th, 2015. I'm sorry. This is a local band, and this is, like I said, like, you know, the Hard Rock Cafe or the House of Blues will have like a more local band playing in the restaurant. Here's the Kings of OK, uploaded from the YouTube channel Kings of OK. This sonically doesn't sound very good, but they're very good and tight.
They're great.
They're nice local pop punk, pop rock bands. So get out there, people. Do your creative work. Believe in yourself. Oh. I'm just hunting for things now. So many teen bands. I'm loving it. There's things that I missed. This is Flex. This is the band Flex. Flex. I'm sure there's a million other bands called Flex, but this is from 6 years ago. And this is them playing again on a liminal space. They actually have like bandstand podiums in front of them. This is beautiful. Here we go. So Jessica.
The underground Detroit crowd doesn't want to listen to them either.
So Jessica.
Yes.
What do you think? What do you think of Sadie Hawkins Dance by Relient K? We talked about it
We already
last
did
week.
this. I said it's
Did
great.
we?
I don't know how I could love it even more. You did not do your review.
Oh,
however.
I said we'd split them across the episodes.
Yeah.
I love this song even more than ever. It's amazing. I completely forgot. I made a Nightcore version of the 10-year reunion version. It sounds really good. Do you actually want to end on that? You know what?
Let's do it.
I got my what do you call it? What do you call it when the dog gets her little fur all hackles? I got my hackles up because of that a-hole old man be like, these kids sound awful. I'm like, no, they sound wonderful. You shut your mouth, you you boomer. Okay, boomer. So let's end on what's actually most important, and that's things that I created. That's things that I created out of things that already existed. If you go to Sadie Hawkins Pod YouTube, I also made a Nightcore of the 10th reunion version of the song. And I'm not joking when I say that I think nightcoring this song up actually makes the re-recorded version better.
Yeah, it is the best version. And I'm not just saying this because I'm married to you. Oh, and our anniversary is this week. It's actually already happened by the time this episode comes out.
Our 10th
our 13th anniversary, wedding anniversary. This is the best version of this version of the song.
For sure. So, especially because Hoops himself said this version in its original form was too slow. Well, I sped it up. I fixed it, Hoops.
There you go.
I fixed it. Hire me to help out with Relient K. I could give you all the good advice. Even the the underlying organ note that I really don't like, that makes me uneasy in the 10-year reunion version, sounds better in the Nightcore because it changes up faster. So you don't have long enough for that underlying organ note to make you uneasy. So love this song more than ever. Love all of you out there, no matter what you're working on, what you're doing. You think it's not good enough, you think it's silly, you think like, oh, someone's gonna say this is like too insincere, or this was too emo, or this was too fake, or I'm not talented enough. Don't listen to them. Don't listen to them. Whatever you're working on is amazing. And if what you work on turns out to be weird and sort of bad, embrace it.
There's still an audience for that.
There's an audience for that. And that sounds like it can be painful, but there's people like me. When I see quote-unquote bad media, I understand that it's bad, but I actually genuinely, and I'm not making this up, I unironically look at stuff like that, and the beauty I see in it is that the person saw this and they believed in it and they still released it. That's what quote-unquote bad media is to me. So whatever you're working on out there, just like the Sadie Hawkins Dance man who was like, I'm just gonna be myself every day and tell jokes in class, and I don't know if there's a girl out there who's gonna appreciate me for me. We appreciate you for you. Get out there and be yourself. That's the message of Sadie Hawkins Dance by Relient K.